Announcer, longtime Lincoln announcer and proud graduate and alumni of Wilson High School. I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm probably going to call it Wilson several times today, even though I know it's Wells. Cardinals come in 1-1, having lost to Jefferson and defeated Gresham. And the Trojans come in 1-1 after a heartbreaking loss to Roosevelt and a victory over Madison/McDaniel High School. I'm here to give you your starting lineups today for the Lincoln offense and the Wilson defense. Starting for the visitors, the Cardinals, at wide receiver, number 1, Justice Lowe. At wide receiver, or number 2, Dylan Iwanaga. Number 8, running back, Brady Kopetz. Number 9, quarterback, Mario Ambrose. Number 11, running back, Solomon Wells. Number 55, player so good they give him 55 and 56. Tackle, Chancellor Summers. Number 59 on the line, Jackson Lindbergh. The Lincoln center is number 65, Riley Prince. Lincoln's big tackle, number 70, Tyler Smith. Number 72, Nathaniel Paradis. And the tight end for Lincoln is number 89, Graham Joshi. For the Wells Trojans, the starting defense, big number 5, senior linebacker Cole Thomas. Number 6, Eddie Cunell, also a linebacker. Number 11 at defensive back, the wheels on the Wilson team, Jaden Brannon. Number 12, the linebacker, also quarterback today, Parker Feld-Gore. Number 13, a linebacker, Cyrus Tendick, a junior. Number 15 at linebacker is Tom White. Number 21 at defensive back for the Trojans, Davis Dufort. Number 22 at linebacker for the Trojans, Saul Tendick. Number 25, defensive back, Roland Griffiths. Number 32, linebacker, Harley Dodge. And number 43, defensive back, Gavin Fraunfelter. The Lincoln head coach is Jeremy Johnson in his 3rd season. And in his 1st season as head coach of the Trojans is Keith Bennett, the Wilson and Wells head coach. We've got about 6 minutes till kickoff. I'm happy to be here with you. Let's enjoy the game.
We've been ready. Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of High School Sports here on your High School Sports Leader, Oregon SportsBeat. Today, from Wells High School, formerly Wilson High School, we have 6A football featuring the Wells Trojans and the Lincoln Cardinal. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Hall. I'll be doing the color. Working with me, my broadcast partner, our play-by-play announcer, Shane Downey. Shane?
Hi, Dave. It's a nice day here in Portland, you could say. A little bit of rain, but
a little.
We're huddled up here in the stands and just about ready to go to bring you all the action.
Both these teams are 1-1. Wells with a loss to Roosevelt and then a win last week over Madison 20-6. The Cardinal are also 1-1. They had that first week loss 13-0 to Jefferson and then a win last week 21-0 over Gresham. By the way, I let an interesting point, Shane. Justice Lowe, who had that 82-yard touchdown run for Lincoln last week, took our video and your and my comments and posted it on his Facebook account.
Oh, that's excellent. Glad it's being put to good use.
Maybe a little bit, maybe a recruiting picture.
Absolutely. No, he had a great game, and why not? Why not gloat a little bit? The Lincoln as a whole, I think, looked much better in week 2 than we saw previously in that first week. You can see on the far side of the field, they're in their dark jerseys today. I believe that's the first time we've seen that this season. So the black jerseys with the white numbers and the red outline. Meanwhile, Wilson on the near side of the field with the white jerseys, white helmets, and green pants and green numbers on their backs. The Cardinals will receive as the coin toss just took place here at midfield. And we're just a few moments from game time here at, well, I want to say Wilson High School, but why don't you explain the correction there?
Well, they are officially Wells High School. They've changed their name. And I talked with the athletic director beforehand, and he said we are officially Wells. So that's what we'll refer to them.
We will certainly do just that. If I do make a mistake, I do apologize because all our paperwork still says Wilson. So That might get a little tricky, but nonetheless, we are here at Wells High School as they are playing host to
and beforehand,
I
want to
Cardinals.
apologize for the times that we say Wilson. It's my 5th year doing Wilson games, and if I make a mistake, I apologize. Creature of habit.
Exactly. It is bound to happen. No doubt about that. So Lincoln will receive and get things started on offense.
We are under a tent in the stands due to some COVID restrictions here and there, and we have a little bit of trouble seeing the clock, but we'll keep on top of that.
For the Lincoln Cardinals is number 1, Justice Lowe.
Justice Lowe back to receive.
We're ready for some football.
Charles Wilmot
playing over the speakers here to get things started.
Charles Wilmot will not play for the Cardinal tonight. Or I shouldn't say tonight, this afternoon. Kind of strange doing a high school game in the afternoon.
All right, here's the kick. That wasn't Metallica, my mistake. The bell toll threw me off there, but
White's kick goes out of bounds.
The kick goes out of bounds.
Penalty.
And we'll see where they spot it, and Lincoln will be getting started on offense in just a few moments.
Nearest to the ball for Lincoln was number 81, Big Matthew Burks.
Mario Ambrose will be starting under center for the Lincoln offense, and we saw him throw the ball a little more a week ago.
The Cardinals will enforce the penalty.
I talked to the Wells PA announcer beforehand, and he had been the youth coach at Lincoln before he took this job here. And so as a youth coach, he coached both Brady Kopetz, the outstanding defensive lineman for Lincoln, and Cole Thomas, the outstanding defensive lineman for Wells. And he said he's looking forward to seeing both of them against each other today.
Yeah, it should be a great matchup overall here in this PIL matchup between these two squads. And right away we see some movement up front from the Wilson defense. Look like number 22, that's Sol Tendick. Offsides will move the chains, move the ball 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 5 after that opening penalty.
Tendick, a sophomore. Each of these teams 1-1. The PA announcer said these are the two best PIL teams on the west side. They're the only two PIL teams on the west side.
Well, if you leave that part out, it sounds pretty good.
Right.
Here's a handoff that's going to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Number 11, Solomon
That was
Wells
Solomon
on the
Wells
carry.
with the carry, and we'll try again 2nd and 5.
Wells got a lot of work
Wells
last
by
week
number 13,
in the Gresham
Cyrus
game and
Tendick.
played very well.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 5 for the Cardinals from the Lincoln 40.
Wilson will be at the Dalles next week. I'm sorry, Wells, or I'm sorry, yeah, that's right. Wells will be at the Dalles next week, and Lincoln will be
At Cleveland.
at Cleveland. Okay.
Believe that's a night game starting around 6.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Here's a run for a first down and more, getting outside the numbers across midfield. 30, 20. Can he get in? No, he falls short at about the 12-yard line. But Brady Kopetz, who we just mentioned a few moments ago, with a huge run. And that will move the chains all the way near the end zone and into the red zone for the Lincoln offense.
Kopetz 50 yards on that carry. First carry for Kopetz. Cut it to the inside and then back to the outside, and it was a foot race. Wells managed to get him down at the 10.
For Kopetz on the play.
So not quite 1st and goal. Looks like they spotted at the 11-yard line. So 1st and 10 from the far hash mark. And Ambrose awaits the snap under center. We have a man in motion. Receiver split on each side now. They do hand it off. Runs into a couple tacklers there near the line of scrimmage. Maybe gets a yard on the play for Wells.
Brought down on the play for Lincoln by number 20, for Wells, sorry, by number 22, Saul Tendick.
2nd down and about
And
9.
number 2, Gus
They
Johnson.
can get a first down without scoring.
For the Cardinals, gonna
They
bring up
can. They
second.
need to get to the 1-yard line.
9 from the Wells 10-yard line.
Now, it's not really raining at the moment, but it has been raining intermittently throughout the day here in the Portland area, and you have to imagine there's a lot of moisture on that field, and you have to wonder also if that affects play calling throughout the day. So far, they're keeping the ball on the ground.
Last week, Lincoln in the second half did throw the ball. 2 touchdown passes to Justice Lowe.
The indication is
We have
delay
a
of game
penalty on the
against
field. That is a delay of game on the Cardinals.
It's a
We've
5-yard
mentioned
penalty
before,
to
no
move Lincoln
play
back to
clock
the Wells 15 and
on
bring
the
up
scoreboard
2nd
here.
down and about 13.
Now, the players on the field are given a warning prior to that time elapsing, but
No clock in the end zone.
a penalty will back it up 5 yards. 2nd and 12. They pitch it. Dodges a defender, does Wells, now cuts across the field for a good run, falls forward near the end zone. He's going to be short, but near the first down marker.
Brought down by number 11 for Wells, Jaden Brannon.
Brannon in on the tackle
The gain
for
is
the
down
Wells
to the
Trojans.
Wells 4-yard line. Going to bring up about 3rd and 2 for the Cardinals.
Good cut for Wells that time. Lincoln pretty much kept the ball on the ground the first half against Gresham last week and then opened it up in the second. So
once again, they don't need to get into the end zone for a first down. It's about 3rd and 2, maybe 3 to go from this part of the field.
We're 32 Gus Todney into the game at running back.
And Todney enters the game. We had a late switch there for the Lincoln offense. And the ball is loose. Todney falls on it.
Fumble on the exchange between Ambrose and Todney, recovered by number 32, Gus Todney.
And Todney does recover, alertly falling on the ball, not trying to pick it up and make a play out of it. But it is a loss,
About 7 on the play. Gonna bring up
a
4th
big
and
loss.
8
It'll be 4th and about 8 or 9,
for the Cardinals from the Wells.
right at the
just
10-yard
inside
line.
the 10-yard line.
looks like a field goal attempt.
Yeah, we haven't seen this yet. We
So
haven't seen the
Cardinals
Lincoln
will kick it.
offense attempt a field goal, but they
Number
are going to
2,
try to
Dylan
put some
Iwanaga to hold.
points on the board. Iwanaga will
Number
be the
4,
holder.
Connor Goff,
Meanwhile,
kick the extra, the field goal.
number 4, Connor Goff in to kick.
26-yard field goal.
Here's the snap. Hold looks good. Kick is a line drive. Does it get through? It
Goff's kick
does
is
not.
No good.
Just left of the
No good,
upright.
wide left.
Is that the first field goal attempt we've seen?
I believe it is.
I believe so.
Trojans will take over after the missed kick. First
So
and 10
Lincoln
on
fails
the
to convert and
Wells
put points on the
20-yard
board on
line.
their first offensive possession. However, Wells will be starting deep in their own territory. So we'll see what they can do with the ball.
So first red zone penetration by the Lincoln
Quarterback for
Cardinal
Wells is
results
number
in
12,
no
Parker
points.
Feld-Gore.
Parker Feld-Gore is the starting quarterback, just a sophomore for the Wells Trojans. You don't see too many sophomore starting quarterbacks here in varsity. But we have covered a game for Wells earlier this season, and he did not look bad at all.
That was the Roosevelt game, and that was a game. I was talking with the staff before, and I said, I thought Wells could have won that game. It was 38-32. Remember, the quarterback, name misplaced me now, threw 6 touchdowns.
Roosevelt? Yeah. All right, they're going to keep it on the ground as well to start things out for a short gain. Brannon with the carry.
Brought down by number 8 for Lincoln, Brady Kopetz.
Kopetz makes the tackle. Kopetz had that big run on the first offensive possession for Lincoln, now playing in on defense. You'll see a number of players playing on both sides of the ball. Lincoln's overall roster number a little smaller than what you see on the opposite side of the field for Wilson. So a lot of players doing double duty. Here's another run for a short gain, this time up the middle.
2 offensive players for Lincoln who performed very well, Kopetz and Mario Ambrose, the quarterback who also plays defensive back.
Number 8, Brady Kopetz for Lincoln.
Kopetz in on the tackle yet again. 7:35 remaining. Clock is running here in the first quarter. No score. 3rd and 5. Eddie Cunell on the carry on that previous play. Here's another handoff. Trying to go up the middle. The ball is loose. Lincoln signaling that he got it.
And the indication is
and Lincoln recovers the fumble and just unable to handle the transfer there on that play, Dave.
First turnover of the game, Lincoln ball.
The Cardinals recover the ball in the Wells.
So Lincoln will start things out at the 25-yard line, right in the middle of the hash marks there, going left to right.
Not sure who recovered it,
and
but Dylan
Lincoln's
Uenaga
offense
and Solomon Wells were right there
will have another opportunity starting in Wells territory. First and 10 from the 25, 7:19 on the clock, no score. Here's the snap. They're going to drop back and pass for the first time. They throw it deep and out of the reach of the intended receiver. Justice Lowe was there and got a mid on it, but just a little too high.
And it was tipped. I thought somebody might be able to catch it.
Yeah, he had an opportunity there, but maybe in the offseason he grows an inch or two and he can grab that one next year.
He is a junior, by the way.
Yeah, he'll have an opportunity next year.
Still resting at the Wells 25.
In fact, him and Ambrose both will be back next year.
So they were setting themselves up.
I'm sorry. Let me make sure on that. No, Ambrose is a senior. I'm sorry.
Ambrose, one of 5 seniors, I believe, on the roster. Here's a handoff to Lowe. He's going to come around the edge for about a 5-yard gain. So
brought down by number 11, Jaden Brannon, and number 32, Harley Dodge.
Brannon in on the tackle for Wells. We've said his name a few times.
So gain of 4 on the play for Lowe brings up 3rd and 6.
Mark it as 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 6 from the far hash mark now.
21-yard line.
And the sun is peeking out through the clouds here at Wells High School.
3rd and 6 at the 21.
Here's the snap. Another handoff, but an immediate tackle by the Wells defense. And number 32, Gus Hogney, has nowhere to go on that one. That'll be 4th down.
That'll take it back to the original line of scrimmage, well, a little bit further back, and it's going to be 4th and 11.
So what do they do here? We saw them go for a field goal when they were much closer to the end zone, and it looks like this time the offense is going to stay on the field 4th and long.
Lowe's going to line up on the right. He has single coverage out there.
We'll have to wait and see if that one defender drops back for double coverage, and he does. They're going to throw it his way anyway. No, they throw it over the middle, and is it caught?
Pass down the middle, intended for Grady
and
Lopez.
no, they're going to say it's intercepted. There was a number of bodies, lots of traffic there on that play over the middle. It is intercepted by Wells, number 11, Jaden Brannon, and he's a senior, and he looks like a star so far in the early parts of this game.
You know, Lincoln's objective that time, throw it to the tallest guy on the field. They threw it to Kopetz. It was kind of tipped a little bit down there, and Wells comes up with the interception. They'll start 1st and 10 at the 20.
So both teams trading turnovers here in the first quarter. Wells has yet to have the ball in Lincoln territory.
Wells senior Jaden Brannon. 1st and 10 Cardinals.
Yeah, I just thought of that. You're right. Have not crossed midfield yet.
Partner Feldgore, number 12, again at quarterback.
And it'll be Feldgore awaiting the snap. 1st and 10. And they're going to hand off, trying to get to that right edge. And lots of bodies there near the line of scrimmage.
Number 6 on the carry for Wells, Eddie Cunell.
Eddie Cunell.
Wrapped up quickly by number 23, Kusha Mirara Rafshahi, otherwise known as Paper Mario.
Well, I didn't have that inside info.
I didn't either.
But apparently the defender making that tackle, nicknamed Paper Mario. That's a little easier to say.
Okay.
Paper Mario and off.
2nd and 10 for the Trojans.
What would you call it? We'll get to that in a second. Here's the snap. Another handoff, this time going up the middle yet again for a short gain for Brannon. Paper Mario, an offshoot of the Super Mario Brothers video game franchise.
Mira Rafshahi.
4:45 on the clock. Clock continues to run. No score here in the first quarter.
Gain of 2 on the play for Brannon. Going to bring up 3rd and 8
Short gain for Brannon.
Wells 22-yard line. 4.5 minutes to go in your
3rd
first
and 8
quarter.
to go. Maybe 7.
We have Miro Rabshahi down pat. We got the pronunciation guide from Lincoln last week.
One of us does.
Oh, okay.
All right, here's a handoff and getting to the outside, close to the first down marker does Brannon, but it looks to be about a yard, maybe 2 short.
1 for Lincoln, Justice Lowe with the solo tackle.
And Lowe in on the defense, making the tackle.
Gain is very close,
getting him
to
out
the
of bounds.
first down marker, but looks
and they spot it a yard shy. So now a big decision for the Wells offense. You definitely don't want to turn over the ball on downs on this part of the field.
Remember the game against Roosevelt? They barely punted during the entire game.
And it looks like they're going to stick with that. Offense is on the field. Here's a snap, handoff, and it's going to be a stop by the Lincoln defense.
There's number 13, Cyrus Tendick on the carry.
Tendick with the carry, unable to go anywhere, actually loses a few yards on the play, and Lincoln, the defense has looked quite strong here early on.
In that game against Roosevelt, remember Coach Bennett? He went. He rarely punted. I think he punted once near the end of the game, and every time they scored, he went for 2.
That is a fact. So now Lincoln, once again, has excellent starting field position. This time on the 28 on the near hash mark. Ambrose signals for Lowe to be in motion. They hand it off to Wells, and he gets free. And across the 20, now the 15, stays on his feet up to the 10, and just powers his way up to the 10-yard line for a big gain.
18 yards on the carry for Solomon Wells, and he started off to the left, cut back to the right, saw some openings, and turned that into an 18-yard gain.
With a lot of help from number 25,
so they get it just inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Lincoln offense here on the near hash mark.
Second red zone penetration for the Wilson Cardinal. I'm sorry, the Lincoln Cardinal. Now I got only the names mixed up.
We'll get there. Here's another handoff running up that hash mark.
Number 8, Brady Kopetz on the carry for Lincoln.
Inside the 5-yard line, up to about the 2 or 3. It'll be 2nd and goal. Lincoln threatening to put some points on the board.
White for the Wells Trojans. A 7-yard gain for Kopetz, second and goal for the Cardinals from the Wells 2-yard line.
Lincoln will have 2 receivers on the near side this time. 2 in the backfield. Here's the snap. Another handoff, trying to get up that left tackle. And did he get in? Yes, he did. Brady Kopetz in from 2 yards out. And 6 points on the board with 2:31 remaining here in the first quarter. Lincoln takes an early lead.
Kopetz on the carry, 2 yards for the touchdown.
So Kopetz on back-to-back plays converts, and Lincoln will go for the extra point. Dylan Magnus, no, they are going to fake, and that's incomplete.
Goes off the hands of number 11, Solomon Wells.
Solomon Wells, the intended receiver.
No good.
Intended for Wells on the outside, went off his hands and went out of bounds. No chance for the 2-point conversion.
6, Trojans 0.
All right, we will take a moment to tell you about some of our sponsors. When you want the highest quality meats, seafood, and sandwiches, come into Phil's Meat Market and Delicatessen, Portland's original neighborhood butcher shop located in the Uptown Shopping Center on Northwest 23rd Place and Burnside. When you are making as major a financial decision as buying a home, you want it done with the best. John Bruce of Guild Mortgage has been supporting the Lincoln football community and providing home mortgages for over 20 years. Call him today at 503-635-8997. Go Cardinal football. Make it happen.
Thank you very much from the Cardinals for providing those.
All right, we are at Wells High School. Lincoln just took a 6-0 lead on a rushing touchdown. And Lincoln,
number 6,
has,
Dylan Mangus will kick for the,
I don't know if I'd say dominated time of possession, but they've certainly had the ball more than Wells throughout this ball game here in the first quarter, and Wells has yet to have the ball in Lincoln territory.
You know, Wells has not crossed the 50-yard line.
Here's a kickoff. See if they can do something with this run back. They're going to start at a good spot at the 38 there, but nowhere to go. It was number 22, Sol Tendick. He got maybe a yard on the return, but really nowhere to go.
No sooner did I say Wells has not crossed the 50 than the kick barely crossed the 50.
Yeah, Lincoln has struggled with kickoffs on occasion throughout this game, or throughout the season, I should say.
Wells 39-yard line. 2:27 to go in the first quarter.
So Wells will start at the 39-yard line on that near hash mark, going right to left here with 2:27 remaining in the first quarter. Lincoln just taking a 6-0 lead. The rain has subsided. Sun has come out.
Number 12, Parker Feldgore, quarterback for Wilson.
Parker Feldgore, the starting quarterback, and Lincoln will call their first timeout of the ball game, their first of 3 here in the first half. That'll give us a moment to tell you about some more of our sponsors. Washman, unlimited transactionless car washes, only $39.99 per month, with Armor All Tire Shine and Clear Ceramic Seal Ultra Shine and Protection. Wash it at Washman Car Washes today. We've been singing the praises of the Lincoln defense all season long, Dave, and so far through the first quarter, more of the same.
You know, the Cardinal defense gave up 13 points to Jefferson in a loss, no points to Gresham last week, no points so far here in the first quarter against Wells, and the defense has been very good.
So just about ready to go coming out of this timeout that was called by Lincoln. And for Wells, Wells hasn't really struggled putting points on the board this season. 32 week 1, 20 week 2. The ball's loose again, and Lincoln may have recovered.
Fumble on the play.
I think they did. The exchange, once again, we've seen this once before.
The Lincoln Cardinals, number 32, Gus Togney.
Lincoln, Togney comes up with the ball.
Now, I didn't see who fumbled it, but I immediately after that, Cole Thomas put his hands on the top of his helmet.
Yep.
Like what
Immediately.
happened?
The fumble for the Cardinals.
For the
We'll give
second
Cardinals
time,
the ball,
Lincoln
1st and 10 at the Wells
recovers a
36.
fumbled transfer, and we were just talking about the defense. I don't know that they really caused the fumble, but still alertly falling on the ball and recovering.
Second turnover, second fumble, and again, both of those fumbles were recovered in Trojan territory. I guess I can say Trojans, although the AD told me we don't officially have a mascot at Wells yet.
Oh, they're just the Wells unnamed. Quarterback has the ball running out and under pressure, evades the tackle, throws it deep downfield, and it's tipped and incomplete. A dangerous throw throwing across his body does Ambrose, and he was intercepted on his last pass attempt.
Let me tell you what bothers me. The Washington football team, the Cleveland baseball team. I mean, come on, get a mascot.
Penalty on the play.
I haven't heard anything official. I assume Washington will have one this upcoming NFL season.
That's what they said.
And Cleveland will eventually figure it out in Major League Baseball as well.
Move back 5 yards. It'll be first
So we did actually have a penalty on that play, so they'll retry
penalty was for
first down.
lineman downfield on Lincoln.
Ineligible lineman downfield. You don't hear that one too often. I know in week 1 we heard all sorts of different
First and
penalties.
15 for the Cardinals.
You know, and that play wasn't a
Wells,
late developing
41
play,
yard
so a lineman hadn't released.
Ambrose
Must
again,
have just not got the
quarterback
play
number
and
9 for the Cardinals.
came off the line of scrimmage.
So here we see trip receivers on the left. Now one in motion. That's Justice Lowe. He has the ball now and cuts up field. Has a big run across the 30, now
Number
near
one,
the
Justice
25.
Lowe on the carry.
And a nice run by
For
Lowe.
the Cardinals.
And that'll move the chains.
13 yards on the carry for Justice Lowe. Boy, does he have quick feet.
And number 11, Jaden Brannon for Wells.
We saw him last week get 103 yards
shy of a
passing,
15-yard
receiving
gain.
on 2 touchdowns.
For
Oh, excuse me. That will not move the chains.
Then maybe a first, no, second one.
Yeah, they're going to call it short by a yard.
14-yard gain for Lowe on the
So
carry.
after the
Brings up
penalty
second
and
one.
even a big run,
Timeout in the
they're
field.
still a yard short.
Right, it was 1st and 15.
Timeout,
I forgot the
Trojans.
penalty. So
That's
14
Wilson's
yards
first
on the
timeout
carry
and a
makes
half.
it second one.
And Wells has called a timeout here with 1:37 remaining here in the first quarter. So each team using a timeout here in the first. Founded in 1984, Trailblazer Foods is one of the Western United States' largest producers of preserves, jellies, and other sweetener and fruit-based products. Trailblazer Foods wishes Lincoln Cardinal football great success for 2021. Call them today at 503-666-5800. Check them out online at trailblazerfoods.com. So if you're Wells, you don't want the momentum to swing even further in Lincoln's favor. You'd like to come up with a stop here, but 2nd and 1, that's going to be a tough ask.
2nd and 1 for the Cardinals. Ball on the Wells 27-yard line.
Man in motion. You see that often for the Lincoln offense. They're going to hand it off to Wells, who looks to get enough for a first down and about 2 more.
11, Solomon Wells on the carry.
Now that's the 3rd time they've run that play, and what they do, they send a flanker in motion, cuts behind the quarterback. Quarterback fakes a handoff to him. Wells is standing there behind him and takes a short handoff and then goes forward. That play has gotten good yardage each time they've run it.
Ball at the Wells 24. It's gain of 3 on that last play.
3 yards on the carry. Ambrose ran to the sideline to get the play. Now joins his teammates in the huddle. 1st and 10 from the 24. We have seen a delay of game penalty on Lincoln once already today. Signaled to run the clock after moving the chains. Low in motion, goes around the back this time. They're going to pitch it to him on the far side of the field. Turns upfield outside the numbers, one-on-one, and knocked out of bounds. But another first down run by the Lincoln offense.
You know, a lot of coaches call that play the fly sweep or the jet sweep. Give it to the guy who's fast as he comes around and turns the corner. Boy, that worked to perfection that time.
For Wells by number 11, Jaden Brannon. The gain is to the Wells 6-yard line.
They spotted at the 6-yard line. It'll be first and goal for the Lincoln offense here with 1:01 on the clock.
Third red zone penetration for Lincoln. They've gotten one touchdown out of it.
They did miss a field goal on their first offensive possession, but now threatening to add more points on the board. Here's the snap. Another pitch on the outside. It's near the goal line, but a few yards short is Kopetz. Looks like may have only given him 1 point.
The Trojans. Gain is inside the 5. Going to be second and goal.
So spotted there just inside the 5. Will be second goal after a short gain, and they should be able to get one more playoff here before the end of the first quarter as the clock continues to run now under 30 seconds. Ambrose signaling to Lowe, and now Lowe's coming closer. Here's a pitch and trying to get outside near the goal line, and that looks to be a touchdown. Brady Kopetz in again.
4-yard run for
his second score of the first quarter, and 6 more points on the board for the Lincoln offense here with just 6 seconds remaining.
Second touchdown run. That one 4 yards for Kopetz. He had 2 yards on the first touchdown run.
Number 6 for Lincoln, Dylan Mangus is in to try the extra point. Number 2, Dylan Iwanaga to hold.
Mangus in for the extra point. We did see him attempt, and now it's a direct snap to Wells, and Wells scores to add 2 points on the board.
2-point conversion.
14-0. So Lincoln trying things a little differently after their last 2 scores. The first time they attempted a fake kick that was a pass attempt to Wells, and he was unable to haul it in. That time a direct snap, and he gets in there easily.
Recap the highlights of the first quarter. Lincoln offense, Lincoln defense, 2 Wells turnovers, both fumbles.
We do want to tell you about our lead sponsor for today's ball game. Wacker Remodel. When you look to remodel or upgrade your home, you want to work with a trusted, certified remodeling professional. Homeowners in the Portland metro area have selected Wacker Remodel for over 30 years to provide them with efficient, high-quality craftsmanship for all phases of remodeling. Call Scott Wacker today at 503-539-9650 for a free consultation. Go Cardinal football.
Shane, we've seen a lot of teams struggle with kickoffs, punts, extra points. What do you attribute that to this season?
Well, we've talked a few times about lack of preparation for this season simply because most of these teams didn't really know they were going to be playing, or circumstances have been out of everyone's control. Here's a deep kick that is tipped and then picked up and runs into a few defenders there after a short gain. That will end the first quarter. So if you're just joining us, 14-0 Lincoln with 2 late scores there in the fourth quarter. And Wilson has yet to have the ball in Lincoln territory. We're going to flip sides of the field as we will get started for the second quarter in just a few moments. But going back to that conversation, special teams has been a struggle. And you have to think, we haven't been able to watch any practices or anything of that sort. But at some point when you have a short preparation time, you have to prioritize certain things. And maybe special teams has been a little lower on that list.
And a lot of these players who are kickers play other positions. They don't spend a lot of time kicking at practice or whatever. And you got to get in a rhythm when you're a kicker.
Absolutely. I know I've mentioned in previous games, it's easy when you're watching at home or listening on the radio or wherever it may be, regardless of what level it is, whether it's high school, college, the pros, somebody misses, let's say a 20, 30-yard kick, you're sitting there at home and it looks so easy.
Right.
That is not an easy job, and that's why so few people are good at it. Think about the NFL. There's, 32 teams. I'd say a handful of them have rough kicker situations.
Exactly.
So maybe there's 20 guys on the whole planet that are capable of doing that job at a high level.
Yeah, a lot of people think all it is put the ball down on a tee and kick it. And I beg to tell you, it is much more difficult than that. A lot of teams resort to soccer players as their kicker.
Yeah, you'll see that at this level especially. So here's Wilson. A pitch, and they're going to get a good run out of this. 7, maybe 8 yards as he spins and falls forward. Does Brannon. And
gets out across the 30 to the 33 for
Brannon is a senior. He's listed as a wide receiver on the charts. He's been handling most of the rushing carries for the Wells Trojans.
2nd 4 for Wells.
So it'll be 2nd and 4 after a 6-yard run by Brannon. From the far hash mark, going left to right now is Wilson. Here's another hand at the end of that play up to the 40-yard line.
I look back at my notes and I don't have. Is that the first down of the game for Wells?
For a Wells first down.
That's a good question.
I don't recall another one.
They have struggled offensively, no doubt about that.
They've not crossed midfield, and now they're within 10 yards of it.
Yeah, one more first down will do it.
Number 2, Dylan Iwanaga. 1st and 10, Wells.
Another handoff to Brannon. He stays on his feet.
Brannon again on the carry.
Maybe 4 yards on the carry. So Brandon has been busy throughout the first early parts of this game.
Paper Mario.
Paper Mario.
Yeah, you hear Paper Mario with the shout out. He was in on the tackle.
Another big run by Brandon. 2nd down and 6 for Wells from the Wells 44.
Miro Rob Shabhi.
Another handoff. Lots of traffic there at the line of scrimmage.
It's an inside handoff to the fullback. Number 13, Cyrus Tendick.
And we mentioned a few moments ago, Wells has yet to cross midfield. And now it'll be 3rd and 6.
No gain on that
from
play.
The 44.
3rd and 6 for Wells. The ball on the Wells 44. 10 minutes to go in the half.
2 minutes off the clock here already here in the 2nd quarter. Another handoff and another good defensive stop by the Lincoln Cardinals.
Brought down by number 89 for the Cardinals, Graham Joshi.
Joshi in on the tackle for
8,
the loss.
Number 2, Dylan
a loss of 2 on the play. And it'll be 4th down, and as we've seen all season long, Wells going to keep their offense on the field, it looks like. And we mentioned they needed another first down to get into Lincoln territory for the first time, and that might not happen. Lincoln, pressure on the quarterback. He airs it out, has a man, and there it is. First down and more across the 40, 30. Breaks free of the tackle, running on the sideline. Under pressure. Is he knocked out of bounds at the end there? No, a touchdown.
Lowe tried to push him out of bounds
Jaden
and push him in the end zone.
Tackles on his way to the end zone.
I believe that was 56 yards catch and run.
That's 58 yards.
Brannon, once he got outside the numbers, there was just no defenders out in front. A trio of Lincoln defenders tried to catch up there at the end. Justice Lowe with the push, but not enough. And you mentioned earlier, Wilson always going for 2. We will see that attempt here with 9:12 on the clock. And Wells, was that their first pass attempt of the game? It might have been.
Yes, it was the first pass attempt. Faked the handoff, and Cardinal bid on that. Then just a little pass out in the flat, and Brandon went 60 yards down the sideline, right down at the end. Justice Lowe tried to push him out, but actually pushed him into the corner of the end zone.
Feldgore with the handoff, trying to go for 2, and they are not going to convert. Lincoln sniffs that one out. And so it will remain 14-8 in favor of the Lincoln Cardinals after a big play by the Wilson offense. We were thinking Lincoln might take over on downs yet again, but no.
The unsuccessful 2-point conversion makes
14-6 our score.
14, Trojans 6, 9:12 to go in the half. As expected, this is going to be a hard-fought, close battle.
Cardinal football would like to thank the following families for sponsoring team meals this week. Thank you to the Paredes, Grants, Reynolds, Lindbergh, Ritzinger, Barrow, and Lahomadou families. Your help is greatly appreciated. – So we mentioned, well, I mentioned a few moments ago,
Trojans
Wells
kick
hasn't
off.
had
Number
any trouble
17, Jack
putting points
White
on the
will
board
kick.
this season. And
Team
we see that they
for Lincoln
are
is
capable of putting
number
points
1,
on the board
Justice Lowe.
in a quick way after that big catch and run.
Also back
Right,
number
in 2 games,
52, Matthew
Lincoln had put a
Nicoretti.
total of
And number 8, Brady
21 points on the board, whereas Wells had put a total of 52, I'm sorry.
So the classic matchup of a good defense and a good offense. A lot of times the defense will win that one. Here's the kick, takes a bounce around the 30. Dangerous spot.
Yeah.
Lincoln touched it,
Ball's
and
on the
they
turf.
do fall on it.
Number 11,
That's a
Sullivan.
free ball.
Wells picks it up.
It traveled 10 yards. It's a free ball, and the
Great effort, hustle there by number
Lincoln player kind of watched it there for a second when he
Wells.
realized that's a
Davis
live
Dufort,
ball and
who was
dived on
just
it.
inches away from
Davis
a key
Dufort
recovery.
for Wells
Cardinals will hang on
was
and
ready to
take
pounce on
possession
it,
of the
and
ball at
fortunately
the
for Lincoln,
28,
Wells was
9:09
there
to
as
go in the
well.
first half.
9:09 on the clock here in the second quarter. A decently paced game. We've had a couple penalties, but nothing egregious.
Number 9,
If,
Mario Ambrose remains
If
the
you look
quarterback
across, you can see
for
some
the
fans in the
Cardinals.
stands. When I came in, they said to me, do you have a wristband? So they must have assigned the number of people who could get in, gave them a wristband to get in. But we do have fans in the stand.
That's correct. We did not see that in week 1, so
We saw it at Gresham.
we did see it at Gresham, so things opening up ever so slightly here in the Portland metro region. Here's a pass. The quarterback took a hit there.
Dangerous pass.
Ambrose throws a lateral
And
to
yeah, you're
number
absolutely
1
right.
Justice
There
Lowe,
was danger.
immediately tackled by
I was
number
focused on
21,
Ambrose
Davis Dufort. There's
just
also
because
a
he took the
penalty on
shot
field.
there, and we do have a penalty.
I heard the PA announcer say that was the lateral. From our viewpoint, we can't see that it was, but that
penalty
may
is
in fact have been a
illegal
lateral,
motion. The
and Justice Lowe
motion
jumped
man
way
number
up in the
2
air to
is in
get that, or it
motion
would have
towards the
been
line of scrimmage
it would have been a
snap.
fumble.
Yeah, you're absolutely
This would
right.
be a 5-yard penalty if they
So
accept it.
they do call it an illegal motion penalty.
Looks like the penalty will be accepted.
So
and the
Wells decides
Cardinals
to
back
accept
up.
it. So it could have been 2nd and 10. Instead, they're going to opt to accept the penalty, and it'll be 1st and 15. Okay,
Penalty is
scratch that. They're going to
declined.
decline the penalty.
Cardinals
Lost
3 on
yardage
play
on
to
the
bring
play
up second
anyway,
and
Yeah,
13.
so that makes much more sense. It'll be 2nd and 13. From the far hash mark, now moving right to left is the Lincoln offense. Justice Lowe, the receiver on the near side. Have a man in motion. They hand off. Power up the middle is Kopetz. He breaks free, and he's going to dive
Ambrose
forward. That should be
hands
enough
off up the middle
for
to
a
number
first
8,
down.
Brady Kopetz.
He needed
Lincoln.
13, he got 15. It's a first down for the
breaks.
Cardinal.
Yeah, they spot it
Three
right at the
tackles before he's brought
40-yard
down by
line on
number
that far hash
5,
mark.
Cole Thomas for the Wells Trojans. Gain of 14
Some
on the
clouds
play,
covering the sun
Lincoln
now. We've
first
seen it
down,
peek through
1st and 10
at different
Cardinals
points of this ball game.
at the Lincoln 40. 8.5 minutes to go in the half. Number 32 Togney now in the backfield with Kopetz.
Togney and Kopetz behind the quarterback under center. Ambrose has it, is going to air it out quickly to
Ambrose
Justice Lowe, but it's
pass intended
incomplete.
for
It was
number 1,
low,
Justice Lowe falls incomplete.
low to low.
Covering on the play for Wells, number 21, Davis.
And really nothing
Dufort.
Justice Lowe could do. on
Right,
that
they had
play.
him out there, and he was
Also number
isolated
15,
one-on-one on the
White.
defender. And what they
Providing
did, instead of
coverage.
him moving forward, they just threw the
Incomplete
ball
pass
out there to
mark,
him
2nd
and
and
let him
10
make
for
a
the
move,
Cardinals
but the throw
from
was
the
low.
Lincoln 40.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Yeah, I don't mind the play call at all. Definitely want to challenge the Wells defense when you have the speed of someone like Justice Lowe. Delayed handoff to
Brady
Ambrose,
Kopetz
or excuse me, to
on the
Kopetz
carry.
for a short gain.
Brought down by number 5, Cole Thomas for Wells.
Kopetz is over 70 yards rushing already, including that 47-yarder he had in the first quarter.
Brings up 3rd and 7 for the Lincoln
You see
Cardinals
Ambrose
from
go to the
Cardinal
sideline for the
43.
play call, and Wells check into the game from the sideline as well.
I've always wondered about the quarterback who has to run over and get the play at the sideline. He's running all that extra.
Definitely get a little extra cardio throughout the day, that's
right.
for sure.
I try to hand signal those calls in.
Quarterback drops back, looks over the middle, now to his right. He's under pressure, and he's going to be
Ambrose
sacked.
drops back to pass.
There was three defenders
By 3 Wilson
surrounding
players.
Ambrose. Looked like Harley Dodge was one of them.
22, Saul Tendick. Number 75, Henry Nias.
It may have been 22. My apologies. That was Tendick. I called out Harley Dodge, who's number 32.
Brings up 4th down and 14 for the
So a big loss for the Lincoln Cardinals. It looks like they're going to punt
Number
for the first time
72,
today.
Nate Paradis in the punt.
Paradis in
Deep is
for the
Jaden
punt
Brannon.
far today.
Oh,
Back
yikes.
deep. And nearly tipped. And Brandon's going to take it on the run. And across the 40, now running far sideline, is finally knocked out of bounds. But that's the best thing you can ask for as a kick returner, to be able to load up and make the grab on the run like that.
By the punter, Nate Paradis.
35 yards on the punt return by Brandon. Two things on that play. Paradis almost had the thing blocked. It was within a fingertip of getting blocked. But you're right. It did allow Brandon to field it on a full run, and he just cut to the outside. Turned it into 35 yards.
Wells Trojans up 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 23.
So Wells, who
6.5 minutes to go in the
have
first
not
half.
had good field position
1st and
throughout the
10
day,
Wells.
will actually start in Lincoln territory for the first time. And it will be at the
Feldgore, number
24-yard
12,
line.
remains in quarterback.
Feldgore will crouch under center. Here's the handoff. They get outside. No, trips
Number
and
5,
falls
Cole
down
Thomas on the carry.
near the line of scrimmage. Does Thomas.
Stumbles and falls.
And we mentioned
at the
earlier, it's
20-yard
been raining
line.
throughout the day, so that may have been a factor.
Number 9, Mario
And
Ambrose
Thomas
is
that
there
time was
for
kind of
Lincoln.
gliding, watching for his blockers to set the block when he
Gain
just
is
literally
1 yard to
stumbled.
The Wells 22 will be 2nd and 9 for the Trojans.
So they give him 1 yard on the carry. Certainly could have been a much bigger play had he not fallen.
He had 2 blockers out there.
Under 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. Handoff. Power run up the middle.
Number 13.
Wells in a T
Tendick on the
formation
carry
that
up the
time,
middle.
which they ran the whole game against Roosevelt.
Brought down by number 70, Tyler Smith.
Tendick with the
And
carry.
number 23, Kusha Mira Rabshahi.
So there,
Gain is
if in
enough
case
for
you're
a
wondering,
Wells
there is
first down, give
2
10 yards on the
Tendicks
play
on
for
this
Tendick.
roster. We don't have
1st and
confirmation,
10
but I would
Wells
assume
at
they're
Cardinal
brothers.
13.
One's a junior, one's a
Sol and
sophomore.
Silas.
First half.
Both have been getting in on the action here tonight. 5.5 minutes here in the second quarter. And another handoff to Tendick for a short gain.
Tendick again on the carry.
That's number
all the way down
13,
inside
Cyrus,
Lincoln
the
5
sophomore.
to the 4-yard line, where he's brought down by number 8, Brady Kopetz, and number 23, Kusha.
So it'll be
Mirabshahi.
2nd down, about a 5-yard gain on the carry.
It looks like about 2nd and 2 for Wells. The ball is just inside the Cardinal 5.
Excuse me. Only 2 yards to go.
So they can get a first down without scoring.
Exactly.
Tendick in the backfield with Brannon and
Quarterback under center. Another handoff. And
that's number 6. on
maybe
the
getting a
carry,
yard on the
Fidel.
play.
Works hard
But
to get
Lincoln
down inside
defense
about the 3-yard
playing
line,
them
where he's
tough
brought down by
near the goal
65,
line.
Riley Prince.
It'll
And
be
number
3rd
11,
down.
Solomon Wells. Going to bring up 3rd and about a yard for the Trojans from just inside the Lincoln 4.
3rd and 1 to go.
Trojans keeping it on the ground, running out of that T formation.
4:15 on the clock. Clock continues to run here in the second quarter. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining, I believe. Another handoff to Tendick. Does he get
Tendick
enough
again
for
on
the
the
first
carry.
down? It's going to be close. And
Gets
they
through,
signal
looks like
right
about the
away.
first
They're not
down.
wasting any time. It is a first down, so it'll be 1st and goal.
Tackled by several Cardinals, including number 72, Nate Paradis, and number 8, Brady Kopetz.
Trojans had a tough time getting
Gain is
started,
down
but
to
now they've got
the
it together.
Lincoln 2-yard line and a Wells first down. 1st and goal for the Trojans.
So you see Wells doing things a little bit differently on the offense than Lincoln. We just mentioned Lincoln quarterback going back and forth to the sideline. Wells not doing that, just looking to the sideline for a hand signal. And this ball is going to be kept out of the end zone. Tendick gets up to about the 1 yard line. He stayed on his feet for a while, but unable to cross that line.
Number 11 and number
That was a lot of
Downey.
action for a gain of 1 yard.
Oh, yeah. And now the clock is stopped. We look like we have an injury on the field. Player's going to walk off under his own power.
Injury. Number 72, Logan Moses, coming off the field.
That's number 72.
Logan Moses, a senior lineman.
Second and
Unclear
goal
what that
from the
injury
1
might
yard
be, but
line for
walking off under his own
Wells.
power before going down to his knees on the sideline.
Get the wind knocked out of you.
So we hope that young man's all right. And now we have a
Timeout,
timeout
Lincoln.
called by Lincoln. So
That's Lincoln's second
that's their
timeout of
second
the half.
timeout. They'll have one remaining here with 3:17 on the clock here in the
Player
second
injured
quarter.
again for Wells was
If
number
you're just
72
joining us,
senior
14
offensive
to
and
6,
defensive
the lead
lineman
for
Logan
the
Moses.
Lincoln Cardinals. Lincoln led 14-0 at one point, and Wilson is threatening to potentially tie the game here at 2nd and goal.
2 first-quarter touchdowns for the Cardinal from Brady Kopetz, a 2 and a 4 yard run, and then the 60-yard pass from Feldgore to Brannon for the Wells touchdown, and that's where we are right now, 14 to 6.
We mentioned Brannon kind of being on the run to receive that kick and converting into a big gain. It also reminds me of, think about in baseball when you have a sac fly. If it's like deep and back towards the wall and the outfielder is flat-footed when they catch the ball, it's going to be really, really tough to throw a guy out from that position. Meanwhile, if you're running forward, much higher conversion rate to throw out that base runner.
Teach some outfielders, circle the ball a little bit, get a run forward on it. The minute you got it, let it go. You got all that momentum behind you.
Absolutely. All right, here's the snap. 2nd and goal. A big shot near the goal line.
Kopetz on the big hit.
Kopetz,
He is
a big shot to Brannon, and
and
he does not gain anything.
Brady Kopetz for Lincoln.
So now it's 3rd and goal, and we've sung the praises of the Lincoln defense. If they can come up with a couple more stops here, 3rd and presumably 4th down, as Wilson likely to keep the offense on the field. And you see the hand signals. I don't know if the video is picking those up, but Wilson with 2 different coaches with the hand signals there from the sideline. And lots of traffic there in the backfield, but in the handoff, but did he get in? No. So now it's going to be 4th and inches from just outside the goal line.
Just short of the goal line again. This time for Lincoln, it's a solo tackle by number 2, Dylan.
You know, that big
Iwanaga
hit by
in on the
Kopetz,
tackle.
it reminds me what Vince Lombardi said. He said, football's not a contact sport. Dancing is a contact sport. Football's a collision sport.
Moses back into the game. He was the young man who was out due to an injury a few plays ago.
2 minutes to go in the first half.
All right, big moment here.
Big play for Wells.
2 minutes on the clock. Here's the handoff and the snap. And no, they're going to throw it deep into the end zone. Does he get it? He did.
Moore's pass is complete to number 21, Davis Dufort.
Davis Dufort
1
with
yard
the
on the
1
play
yard
for the
touchdown
Wells
reception
Trojans
from
touchdown.
Feldgore.
That's
6
the
points
second
on the
touchdown
board for the
pass today
Trojans
for
with
number 12.
1:52 on the clock,
Wilson's quarterback
and they are a
partner,
2-point
Feldgore.
conversion away from tying this game. And you have to believe, Dave, that caught the Lincoln defense just a tad off guard.
Feldgore managed to get it out there, and it just kind of was up in the air, and fortunately Dufort could get underneath it for the touchdown. But, yeah, we were at 14-0. Now we're 14-12 going for 2.
Here's a snap pitch to the left side. Dives forward, and he's kept out of the end zone is Brannon. So the score will remain in favor of the Lincoln Cardinals, 14-12.
Also got some help from 72 Paradis on that play.
Iwanaga has been really, really good at defensive linebacker and coming up with a big stop then. 14-12, Lincoln leads.
We do have to give a lot of credit to Dufort on that touchdown reception. He had to lay out. He was kind of all alone, but still the pass maybe just a tad overthrown, and he had to really extend his body to make that grab.
Number 17, Jack White, will kick off for the Trojans.
So
Turning into a very good game, 14-12.
Yeah, we expected this to be a close game, no doubt about that. Both teams coming into the game with a 1-1 record. After losing week 1, both teams played on this field in week 1. So whoever wins, it'll be their first victory here at Wells High School here on this season.
Number 52,
That week,
Matthew Maharity.
Lincoln lost to Jefferson 13-0, and Wells lost to Roosevelt 38-32.
White and the Trojans to kick off from the 40.
All right, so Wells will kick off. 1:52 remaining. Lincoln has 1 timeout, so should be enough time to move down the field. Low back to receive. Here's the kick from the Trojans. Caught at the 30-yard line. We have a whistle.
White's kick is fair, caught by number 89, Graham
It's
Joshi.
a fair catch by Joshi.
Coverage provided for Wells by number 21, Davis Dufort, and number 6, Eddie Cunell. The Cardinals will take over 1st and 10 on their own 32 with 1:51
So
to go
decent
in the
field
first
position
half.
to start for the Lincoln offense. The sun peeking through the clouds yet again.
The
You know,
penalty on the field.
No, so we did see a whistle. I didn't see a flag, but it looks like we're going to retry the kickoff.
Well, I heard the referee say dead ball,
Okay.
so it must mean the penalty happened before the kick.
The penalty was an illegal kickoff formation,
So-
not having 4 players on each side of the kicker.
Okay, that's what it
So
was.
that's a new one also.
Right,
You don't
and-
hear that one too often.
Right, because when he said dead ball, it means the foul had to occur before the kick.
So you need to have at least 4 players on each side. Now they're going to
Trojans
back up
will
the ball
re-kick.
to re-kick.
This time from the 35. Once again, kicking it
It's
for
Jack
Wells
White.
is number 17, Jack White.
Little kick.
Once again, deep to receive for Lincoln, number 1, Justice Lowe. Also,
They'll have a
64,
play on,
Matt
and they'll decide
Dickinson.
which side of the field they're
And
going to get
52,
kicked to, and they're going to have
Matthew
more
Maharity.
players on the line on that side. And that's what they did that time. They just didn't have enough on the other side. Watch this kickoff. He almost stops before he
Yeah,
kicks the
so
ball.
you see there one of the players backing up a little to make sure they get 4 players on that side of the field. Here's the kick again. This one goes deep, and Lowe's going to have an opportunity to run it back. He gets across the 30, runs into a couple bodies, now laterally across the field, across the 40, now near midfield,
Justice
and
Lowe
falls
on the
short.
return.
So that turns out to be beneficial for the Lincoln
Brought
Cardinals.
down by 21, Davis
28 yards
Dufort,
on the kickoff
and
return
number
for
22,
Justice
Saul
Lowe.
Tendick for the Trojans.
Yeah, I was thinking, based on the previous kick,
It's a
maybe they were trying to keep
31-yard
it out
return
of
for Lowe.
Lowe's hands and not give him that chance
Gives
to run
the
the ball back,
Cardinals
but not the
ball at
case.
Lincoln 48.
And Lincoln will start
1:45
out
going
at their
half.
own 48 with 1:45 remaining here in the second quarter.
That
Lincoln
kickoff,
does, in fact, have 1 timeout remaining.
that kickoff was by
Cardinals
Jack
with the
White,
ball
number
on
17, the
Wells
senior.
logo.
Spun around at the line of
Handoff
scrimmage,
to
and we
number
have a
11,
flag.
Solomon Wells brought down quickly by number 5, Cole Thomas, and number 15.
The linesman threw that
Tom
flag,
White.
and I'm not
Penalty
sure.
on
He
the
was
field.
looking right at the ball carrier.
The penalty is against Wells for 12 men on the field.
So
So the penalty for the kickoff before, they didn't have enough men in the right position. Now they have too many men in the right position.
12 men on the field.
Trojans had 1 too many on the field that time.
And now 1 exits. That was Gavin
A
Fraunfelter.
15-yard penalty enforced against Wells. Will take the ball inside.
So after the
Wells
penalty,
40, down
which
to
is a
Wells
costly one, 15
37.
yards,
1st and 10
Lincoln
Cardinals, 1:40 to
has
go in
even
the
better
half.
field position to start things out. 1st and 10 now in Wells territory.
Number 9, Mario Ambrose, remains in at quarterback for Lincoln.
Ambrose under center. Here's a handoff to Wells. He's dragged from behind and then takes a
Ambrose
shot on
gives
the
to
top
Solomon Wells
part of
on
that
the
play. That was number 5, Cole Thomas. And it looks like we have another flag, probably for the tackle by Thomas.
I think the referee is signaling their helmet hit, calling a targeting penalty against, I believe it's Cole Thomas, number 5.
So that'll be 15 more yards to the personal foul.
Targeting can result in an ejection, too.
So referee's going to talk to coaching staff of Wells.
26-yard line.
Head coached by Keith Bennett.
First down for Lincoln. 1st and 10 Cardinals from the Wells 26.
A couple of penalties. We were talking about the clock and Lincoln having enough time to move down the field, but they moved 30 yards with really no time elapsing thanks to 2 penalties.
2 penalties.
So now up to the 33. Here's a pitch, and we have another flag. Staying on his feet.
That flag,
5-yard gain.
That flag was thrown into the middle of the line.
Brought down by half the Wilson defense, the Wells
So
defense.
the first quarter we didn't see a whole lot of penalties, but here late in the second, it's a different story.
Who led the charge. The gain for Kopetz is down to the Wells 21-yard line.
It's about a 4-yard gain for Kopetz.
There might be a penalty again.
It's a legal formation on the offense, so we're going to scratch that run by Kopetz and back it up.
Here they didn't have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. The 5-yard penalty wipes out the gain from Kopetz, and will move the ball back to the Wells.
You have to have 7 players on the line.
Dylan Magnus in to kick the extra point. Lincoln currently has an 8-point lead. This would make it a 2-possession game, but we have seen some trickery on these extra point attempts. Now a more traditional formation. Here's the snap. Iwanaga to hold, and the kick. It's line drive, end over end, and it's good. So now a 9-point game, and that could prove to be pretty important. You know, I know we still have a whole half to play, but making it 2 possessions versus 1 certainly makes a big difference.
We've now seen that combination, Ambrose to Lowe, with 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
Justice Lowe adding to his highlight reel, and give a lot of credit to Ambrose making the pass, putting it in the right spot.
If you watch that time, Lowe came down, the defender backed off. He didn't want Lowe to run by him, and when the defender backed up a step, Lowe cut to the outside. Great read on his part.
That will prove costly. When you have a speedy offensive player, they're going to put you to the test.
Jaden Brannon, along with number 6, Eddie Cunell.
So Wells is on the field ready to receive. Lincoln now just getting back onto the field.
Number 6, Dylan Mangus will kick off for the Cardinals. 14 seconds left in the first half.
Mangus in to kick. And if I'm Lincoln, I'm not giving Brandon an opportunity to run this back and do anything special.
Kick it on the ground.
Or a line drive into the corner. And now we have a timeout called. Well, I thought I heard timeout. I heard people saying timeout for the sideline, but they don't give them the timeout. And then the kick does go out of bounds. So you see the flag there.
For Lincoln was number 4, Connor Goff.
Did you hear that too?
I did hear you. I heard somebody yelling.
I believe from the Lincoln sideline.
Wells can take the re-kick or take the ball.
So Wells has an option to ask Lincoln to re-kick.
There's procedure call on the Cardinal.
Looks like Wells will take the option
Wells
to start at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and start. Let's not use them here. Might just take a knee,
Wells.
not take any chances, and go into the second half trailing by 9 points. And they do just that.
Takes a knee.
So that will do it here for the first half here at Wells High School, where the Wells Trojans are playing a host to the Lincoln Cardinals. Lincoln with the lead, 21-12 heading into the half.
Well played, competitive first half.
Interesting game.
Wait for the second half.
Lincoln off to a 14-0 lead. Wells comes back with 2 touchdowns, cut it to 14-12, and then Lincoln comes back with the passing touchdown from Ambrose to Justice Lowe, and the point after was good. 21-12 is where we stand.
Lincoln has to feel pretty good going into halftime after scoring on that big play to end the first half. You mentioned both the first quarter and the second quarter ending in touchdowns for Lincoln. Thinking about it, Dave, have they gone into halftime with a lead this season? I know last week we, of course, had a close game. Of course, they won 20-0, so of course they went into halftime with the lead. But this time, a little closer, and we'll see what comes in the second half here from Wells High School. We are going to step aside for just a few moments. That's Dave Hull. I'm Shane Downey. Thank you so much for joining us here on Oregon Sports Beat. I know there are some fans in the stands today, but it is limited capacity, so we know a number of you who perhaps wanted to be here but couldn't attend. We do appreciate you joining us here on Oregon Sports Beat. Stick around about 10 minutes, and we will be back with second half action here on Oregon Sports Beat.
Welcome back to Wells High School. We're at halftime where our score is the Lincoln Cardinal 21, the Wells Trojans 12. It was 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Lincoln got a touchdown and a point after touchdown in the second quarter, and Wells got 2 touchdowns. So Wells actually won that quarter 12-7. That makes our score 21-12. Scoring in the game for the Cardinal, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, a 2-yard run by Brady Kopetz and a 4-yard run by Brady Kopetz, that second coming with 6 seconds left in the quarter. In the second quarter, it started off Wells with a 60-yard touchdown pass from Feldgore to Brannon, that coming at 9:12. And then another Wells touchdown at 1:52, a 1-yard pass from Feldgore to Dufort. Both those point after touchdowns failed. And then the last score of the half, a 24-yard touchdown pass from Ambrose to Lowe, that coming at 14 seconds left to go. And the point after touchdown by Mangus made it 21-12. So Lincoln scored at 6 seconds left in the first quarter, 14 seconds left in the second quarter, and lead this one 21-12.
It has been a good game so far here after 2 quarters of football here at Wells High School. The recently renamed Wells High School, if you're a little confused, formerly known as Wilson or the Wilson Trojans. Sounds like they might change the nickname in the future as well.
When I started work for Oregon SportsBeat, that was 2015, 6 years ago, and I did Wilson football for 2 years, so I grew kind of attached to the Wilson Trojans. The head coach at that time was Ken Dulio, who is a Portland police officer.
So we're about 2.5 minutes remaining before we begin the second half, which Wells will receive to start the second half. And they'll be trailing by 9 points, 21-12. Lincoln with 3 scores. They did attempt a field goal for the first time we saw on their first offensive possession. We had not seen that in the previous 2 ball games. So we know they have that in their repertoire, even if they didn't convert on that particular occasion.
There have been 3 missed point after touchdowns. Lincoln missed the first, and then Wells has missed both of theirs. So I got the lowdown on why they call him Paper Mario, and it's because he cuts like he's cutting through paper. He makes cuts look easy, like he's cutting through paper.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, if you're unfamiliar, I mentioned earlier, some people might have no idea what Paper Mario is. So there's, of course, the Super Mario Brothers video game franchise, right, and then a bunch of different offshoots of it. And there's the Paper Mario franchise as well, where he kind of goes in between being 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. So turns to the side, and just like that, the rain is back.
Really? Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, it's coming down. So we didn't see much rain in the first half, maybe in the first few minutes of the ball game. It's been intermittent throughout the day here in the Portland metro area, but just under a minute remaining before we start the second half, and the sky has opened up. So here in the second half, if you're a Lincoln fan, you just want the defense to continue doing what you've been doing. And then if your offense, I like just continuing to get the ball in Justice Lowe's hands.
Congratulations to the Oregon State Beavers.
I like Kopetz as well. If you want to keep the ball on the ground, obviously you want to avoid any turnovers with that 9-point lead. And the field and the ball perhaps a little slick here as the rain just started yet again. So a little combination of Kopetz and Lowe here in the second half I would expect to see from the Lincoln offense.
I do see the Wells backup quarterback is down here, and he's throwing. I don't know if that means anything or he's just getting warm. By the way, he's a freshman, Dante Conte Mathis.
We'll see if we see him in this second half. So Lincoln will be kicking right to left, off the right foot of Dylan Magnus.
2 touchdown passes in the first half for the Wells quarterback, Feld Gore. One of them to Brandon, one of them to Dufort.
Jaden Brandon for Wells.
Here's the kick, and it's going to go out of bounds. We've seen that pretty consistently, so now Wells will have a decision. They could start at the 35-yard line, or they could ask to re-kick. To end the second half, they decided to just take the ball and then immediately took a knee, but that was largely due to time constrictions.
Lincoln's coming back like they're going to kick.
And Lincoln will try again.
Going to be a 5-yard penalty for Lincoln, and they will kick off once again, this time from the 35.
We mentioned earlier, you know, there's such a limited time to prepare for this season.
And once again, number 6,
each team has struggled with special teams, and Mangus will try again, kicking from the 35-yard line from that near hash mark. Lincoln in those black jerseys with the white numbers on their back, red outlines, and the red helmets with the Cardinal logo on the side.
Last couple of kicks have gone to the right. Let's see if they kick it to the right this time.
Oh, no, he straightens it out this time, and it's going to take a bounce, but it's going to go out of bounds on the other side.
And that's
more of just an unlucky bounce, quite frankly, because he kicked it pretty straight.
Mangus goes up and picks up the tee, and he's going to back up 5 more yards.
All right, let's try from the 30 now.
Cardinals back 5 yards again.
So a couple kick attempts, still no time off the clock here in the second half.
So Wells just got the advantage of 10 extra yards penalty.
Let's try one more time.
Mangus to kick off for a 3rd time here in the second half.
3rd time's a charm.
Ball on the Cardinal 30, deep again, number 11, Brandon.
And he's going to kick it diagonally. This time it's going to stay in bounds, caught there by Wells, and they're going to get it near midfield, maybe a yard shy for Tendick.
Tackled by number 4, Connor Goff.
So they will start at almost midfield on the basis of 2 penalties and a short kick.
Wells 49, 1st and 10 for the Trojans.
Trojans will take over on the 49.
To go in your 3rd quarter. On a great football day.
Sophomore quarterback Parker Feld Gore.
Number 12, Parker Feld Gore
under center.
Wilson quarterback.
Here's the handoff. Power run off of right tackle.
13, Cyrus Tendick.
2, maybe 3 yards on the play for Tendick. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Number 32, Gus Todney. And number 65, Riley Prince for the Cardinals.
Todney and Prince in on the tackle for the defense.
A gain of, let's call it 3 seconds, 7 for the Wells Trojans.
Another handoff. And it's going to be a short gain
6,
for Cunell.
Tackled once again by number 65, Riley Prince, a player down for the
We do
Trojans.
have an injury
That's 65,
for Wells.
Riley Prince, the junior, on the tackle for Lincoln. Cannell on the carry.
And the Wells player who's down does look to be a bit shaken up. It'll give you us an opportunity to tell you about some of our sponsors. Phil's Meat Market and Delicatessen. When you want the highest quality meats, seafoods, and sandwiches, come to Phil's Meat Market and Delicatessen, Portland's original neighborhood butcher shop, located in the Uptown Shopping Center on Northwest 23rd Place and Burnside. We also have John Bruce of Guild Mortgage. When you're making as major a financial decision as buying a home, you want it done with the best. John Bruce of Guild Mortgage has been supporting the Lincoln football community and providing home mortgages for over 20 years. Call him today at 503-635-8997. Go Cardinal football. Make it happen. Let's also tell you about our friends at Washman. Unlimited transactionless car washes, only $39.99 per month, with Armor All Tire Shine and Clear Ceramic Seal Ultra Shine and Protection. Wash it at Washman Car Washes today. Founded in 1984, Trailblazer Foods is one of the Western United States' largest producers of preserves, jellies, and other sweetener and fruit-based products. Trailblazer Foods wishes Lincoln Cardinal football great success for 2021. Call them today at 503-666-5800 or check them out online at trailblazerfoods.com.
If you can hear that little pitter-patter in the background, you wonder what that is. That is, in fact, the rain hitting our crowd mics. We have them wrapped in plastic.
Jaden Brannon is the player who's walking off the field gingerly for the Wells Trojans, and that's a name we've said numerous times throughout the day. Definitely one of the better players for Wells, so that could be a costly loss here in the second half.
If you remember, he caught that 60-yard touchdown pass from Feld Gore at 9:12 left to go in the second quarter. That was the first time Lincoln got on the board.
All right, so Wells offense still out there, 3rd and 6. Here's a snap, and running up the near hash near the first down marker is Tendick with the carry. Looks about a yard short, and it'll be 4th down.
Gain is to the Cardinal 42, where it'll be 4th down.
Miro Rabshahi on the tackle.
4th and 1 from the 42-yard line.
And Lincoln has had a couple of plays where they've stopped the Trojans.
See if they can get a stop here for a turnover on downs. Quarterback keeper, he gets around to the outside edge, and that's enough for the first down and more. So give credit to Gore there. Secured the ball, held it close to his chest, and was able to get outside the numbers for the first down.
Inside the 40 to the 36 for Wells, first down. Call it 4 yards on the play. 1st and 10 Trojans.
Yeah, you mentioned the pitter-patter coming down a little more now.
1st and 10 Wells. The 36 of Lincoln.
1st and 10 for the 36 near hash. Moving left to right is the Wells offense. And a handoff there, getting right back to the line of scrimmage.
Tendick on the carry.
Stood up is Tendick on the carry.
52 for Lincoln. Matthew Maherity.
Maherity with the stop.
Number 2, Dylan Iwanaga.
Iwanaga in as well.
No gain on the play.
Second and 10, 9:35 on the clock. Clock continuing to run. And yeah, you may have heard the PA announcer. The rain certainly coming down pretty good here now. And I would imagine not seeing too many second half passes unless the game situation truly calls for it. And just like that, quarterback is going to pull it in. No, he's going outside for a short gain. That was Dufort who got the reverse handoff, so it was not a quarter.
Dufort had a touchdown in the first half too, a 1-yard pass from Feld Gore.
For the Trojans.
They go to the third option on the handoff. Finding a hole as he turns upfield is Thomas.
Penalty flag on the play.
We do have a penalty.
Thomas brought down by
nice tackle that time by Gus Togney.
The penalty looks to be on the offense. Trojans. So we'll back it up after that short gain. If you're just joining us, the Trojans trailing by 9 points. We're a few minutes underway here in the second half, third quarter, 8:29 on the clock.
Biggest lead of the game was 14 at the end of the first quarter. Was 14 to nothing.
They'll move the Trojans back to the 42-yard.
Third and long from the 42 now.
Down in about 15. Once again, number 12, Parker Feld Gore is your Wells quarterback.
Third and 16 from the 42. They're going to throw it. Near sideline, have a man. It's caught, pushed out of bounds. Short of the first down. No, did he get enough? We're going to find out in just a moment.
All the way down to the 22-yard line. There is a penalty on the field.
No, we have a flag, too. And the flag is near the line of scrimmage.
23, Kusha Mirar Shahi.
Flag is back at the line of scrimmage.
For a nice gain for Wells.
The way Wells is reacting, I think this might be on them.
Feldgore has a unique throwing motion, doesn't he?
Is ineligible man downfield.
So it is indeed on the offense. Ineligible man downfield.
Lineman got more than 3 yards downfield before the ball was thrown.
So a lineman pushing forward.
The penalty will wipe out the first down for Wells and move it
Coming
back
in for the Lincoln defense, checking in is Matthew Maherity.
to the Cardinal 47.
That'll move it all the way back to the 47-yard. So, yes,
So third and
and
long.
third and about 22 yards.
So some penalties going against Wells. We'll see if it proves to be costly for their offense. Third and long, Feldgore under center. Handoff, lots of traffic in the middle. And short gain, if anything. Yeah, no, he gets a couple yards.
Inside handoff to number 5,
Cole Thomas.
for Wells.
Cole
Brought
Thomas
down
gets up a
quickly
little
by number
slowly.
65 for Lincoln, Riley Prince. It's a gain of about 2 on the play, going to bring up 4th.
And it looks like Wells is going to punt. We haven't seen this very often.
It appears maybe
Regardless
for the
of
first
the-
time this season that Wells will punt.
Even the PA announcer made that a question. Not Wells is going to punt, but
Your announcer
Wells will
watched the
punt?
Wells game and hasn't seen him punt.
Yeah, I don't think they've punted all season, Dave.
he just said that.
17, Jack White in the punt for Wells, number 1, Justice
Oh,
Lowe.
now we have a guy going out wide. And
Oh,
that, yeah. Everybody's reacting to that as that ball goes out of bounds.
White's punt goes
It
inside
looked
the
like
20 and rolls out of bounds
the offensive
around
player
the
crossed the line of
Cardinal
scrimmage
17.
before that ball was snapped, but they did not throw
You-
a flag.
you heard me say, oh, that was my thought right at the moment.
Yeah.
The offensive player who was in motion turned up field for one thing and then crossed the line of scrimmage for another.
Yeah, he never set.
It is a penalty.
Okay, yeah, they do. I didn't see a flag, but they do. They obviously saw it. I don't see how you couldn't.
Illegal motion, and when you go in motion like that, you can't turn up the field like he did.
Yeah.
And in doing so, he crossed the line of scrimmage. So it'll come back. Instead of being 4th and about 20, we'll make it 21. It'll be 4th and 26.
Cardinals will accept the penalty.
Yeah, so they're
Back
going
Wells up and make
to
him
punt
repunt.
yet again.
Once again, 17, Jack White is your punter for Wells. And deep
White
I
into
never
punt.
did figure out the reason for that motion to begin with. I thought maybe the punter's going to throw the ball. but
That's what I was thinking initially, but that clearly wasn't the case.
Also back, number 8, Brady Kopetz for Lincoln.
Look at this formation. There's a
Now he's going out the right side.
yeah. There was
Penalty on the field again.
motion on the line that time by
It's a
the
false start on Wells.
on Wells. Yeah, false start.
We've mentioned a few times now these teams maybe have some things to work on special teams.
Well, that was just the oddest formation I think I've seen yet.
Penalty is a dead ball, false start on Wells.
We'll back it up.
That'll move the Trojans back
5
4
more.
yards.
Be 4th and 31.
Well,
So
now they're
make it
waving off the
4th and
flag.
Almost 30.
They just waved off the
Waving
flag.
off the flag.
Now, the referees had waved that off, and I'm not sure what actually happened then because the lineman clearly stood up.
Okay, so no penalty yardage. White once again to punt for Wells.
Now they spread out a little bit more.
All right, let's try again. Kick deep downfield. Lowe is there. He's going to have to take it on a bounce.
He does.
He does. Gets outside the numbers on the far side. Now cuts across. Breaks free across midfield. 40, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown. But there is a flag.
82-yard pass completion last week. That punt return goes to 83.
So how many times have we kicked it now?
Justice Lowe, 83 yards on the punt return. But
3 or 4 times. There's been a flag each time.
Well, where is the flag?
The
Do you see
flag's
it?
at the 44-yard line.
Of the 44 back here?
Wells, yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Was there a block, an illegal block on the return there?
I can't say I saw the penalty in real time. flag is on the field.
You would think then it would have to have been on the Trojans. I'm sorry, on the Cardinal,
Yeah, that's
on
what
the
I'm
return and maybe a block. Boy, Lowe turned on the Jets again, and he was gone.
Yeah, we know he has plenty of speed and had an opportunity to showcase it there, but
there it is.
So the pacing of this third quarter has come to a crawl after a number of penalties. So it is holding on the run back, but Lincoln will finally take over. 1st and 10 after the penalty erases the punt return for a touchdown.
The call was holding.
Ambrose under center. Man in motion. He's going to throw it. Little surprising given the circumstances and the rain. It's aired out deep to Justice Lowe. Incomplete. That's tipped by the defender, Davis Dufort.
And Ambrose aired that one out.
He sure did.
Incomplete pass will bring up 2nd and 10 for the Cardinals.
And now the rain's come down so good it's affecting our vision slightly.
At some point in time, somebody's going to have to reach up there and dump that water out of the front of the tent.
Oh, yeah, it is piling up.
All this electronic equipment will have.
Here's Wells coming to the near side. He evades a tackle, now gets across midfield. He's finally knocked out of bounds at about the 39-yard line.
Okay, our somebody is going to go do that. It's it's Jim Thompson.
Everybody's got a job on this crew.
Across and down to the 40-yard line of the Trojans. Where
here we go.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals.
All right. Fortunately, nobody over there.
Crisis evaded. 1st and 10 from the 40.
Be careful there, Jim. That's wet.
Here's a handoff coming inside.
Goff on the carry.
Goff with the carry, his first. Short gain on the play, maybe 2 yards. 2nd and 8.
Wells player down.
6:37 left to go here in the third quarter.
We do have another injury timeout, which will take us, give us a moment to tell you about some more of our sponsors. Wacker Remodel. When you look to remodel or upgrade your home, you want to work with a trusted, certified remodeling professional. Homeowners in the Portland metro area have selected Wacker Remodel for over 30 years to provide them with efficient, high-quality craftsmanship for all phases of remodeling. Call Scott Wacker today at 503-539-9650 for a free consultation. Go Cardinal Football. And lastly, Cardinal Football would like to thank the following families for sponsoring the team meals this week. Thank you to the Paredes, Gantz, Reynolds, Lindbergh, Ritzinger, Barrow, and Lahamadu families. Lahamado, maybe. I do apologize if I mispronounce anything. Your help is greatly appreciated. So we do have a injury here for Wells, as the player is down on his back. Can't quite pinpoint the number. Do want to take a moment to thank you once again for joining us here on Oregon SportsBeat. I know a number of you would love to be here in attendance, limited attendance, although maybe not. Maybe not with this rain and this weather. Maybe you're glad to be listening to us from home.
The first time we were here, there were people on the fence line around the outside. Now there are actually people in the stands, I guess maybe 50 or so.
Yeah, limited attendance allowed for this game. 6:37 remaining here in the third quarter.
We did a volleyball game Thursday night involving Central Catholic and Clackamas, and they allowed Central Catholic parents into the stands, and they made the most noise that you could ever imagine.
They've been indoors for months
Exactly.
or a year.
Exactly.
They've been holding it all in.
Brings a new meaning to yelling at the kids.
So we do have an injury stoppage here at Wells High School. Lincoln leading 21-12, 6:37 on the clock here in the third quarter.
I haven't seen the number on the player who's down.
Yeah, you see trainers and coaches surrounding him. We did see Jaden Brannon leave the game.
All right, that player is
Earlier.
up. Let's see if he walks off.
Looks like number 8, which is Dylan Hall.
And I'm not sure. He might have a bloody nose. He was holding his head back.
Great. Dylan Hall was your injured Trojan, off on his own power. He's second down.
Walking
and
off
8
under
yards
his
to
own
the
power,
Cardinals
which is
from
always a
the
good sign.
Wells 38.
All right, back on the field, 2nd and 8 after a 2-yard carry on first down. Justice Lowe in motion. The ball is loose, and it's number 13 of the defense that looks to recover. For my vantage point, Cyrus Tendick.
Cyrus Tendick, the linebacker.
And that's a case where Ambrose just pulled back from center and didn't have the ball.
And that will turn the ball over to the Trojans.
The Trojans getting
First and
a
10 Wells at their own
turnover that could
38.
swing the momentum in their direction.
Once again, number 13, linebacker.
Trailing by 9 points,
Cyrus
6:22
Tendick
on the clock
bringing
now.
up the football for Wells
And boy, did it get chilly
on the fumbled exchange
in
for the Cardinals.
quick amount of
First and
time.
10 Wells. Number 12, Feldgore. again
Parker
in quarterback
Feldgore
for
will be under
Trojans.
center for the Trojans. In that wing formation, 3 in the backfield, and just a power run up the middle for number 13, Cyrus Tendick, who just recovered. And look at that.
Straight off the fumble recovery.
So
number
Tendick
13,
running,
Cyrus-
and
Cyrus Tendick.
Lincoln's
Carries
defender,
out
I
the
believe that was
defense
Brady
for 10 yards
Kopetz,
on
had a
first
hand
down.
on his jersey, and then something tore off of it.
Getting some help from some
Can't tell if
And
that's
Tendick
tape.
just kept going.
Can't tell if that's tape or whatever. Kopetz thought he was making a like
thought
a
he had the
shoestring
jersey.
tackle, and he had something that came off.
Several Cardinals in on the tackle, including number 2, Iwanaga, number
All right.
9, Ambrose, and 32, Togney. First and 10, Wells.
That moves the
The
chains.
Wells
First
48.
and 10. Another handoff up the middle, and another solid
again.
gain. This time maybe 4 yards.
Brought down by 8, Brady Kopetz.
Make it
and number
3.
9, Mario Ambrose. Also number 32, the wild boar, Gus Togney, in on that tackle. So again, a 3 for Wells, going to bring up 2nd and 7 for the Trojans.
Second down, 7 to go.
5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Took about the last 15 minutes, I'd say, for 2 minutes to come off the clock, but now a couple running plays, and time continues to run. Just over 5 minutes now remaining here in the third quarter. Another handoff, this time going to the outside.
Number 21, Davis Dufort.
Davis
on the carry.
Dufort up to the 44-yard line, a couple yards shy of the first down.
Brought down by number 1, Justice Lowe, and number
Justice
23,
Lowe
Paper Mario. For
in on the
Lincoln.
tackle.
The gain is down to
Oh,
the
they mark it
Cardinal
at the
45.
45.
Third and about 3 for the Trojans.
3rd and 3 from the far hash mark. Wells moving left to right. Here's the snap, a pitch. Trying to get to the near side of the field, but under pressure, and turns upfield, nowhere to go. Knocked out of bounds
Toss
is the
play
ball
number
carrier,
6.
Eddie Kuhnel.
Eddie Kuhnel.
I noticed near the end he changed hands on that that he had on the ball there. I think he was just trying to protect himself from a fumble, but I was wondering there for a second, is he going to throw that ball?
The Wells 48 is
You know, I thought he went out of bounds, but the clock is continuing to run. I heard the PA announcer say out of bounds as well, but
4th down and 10.
now 4th and long. And
Trojans with the ball
the Trojans look to be keeping their offense on the field. They did punt once, their first punt this season so far in this game.
They are not cross midfield, so they're going.
And now Wells is going to use their first timeout here in the second half. So Wilson head coach Keith Bennett recognizing that this is a key play of the game. Still a lot of time left, but down by 2 scores, 4th and 10. Don't want to turn over the ball on downs, but very likely to go for it here on 4th down.
And Coach Bennett, the gunslinger. He goes for everything.
I do want to take a moment to mention this will actually be my last game for Oregon SportsBeat. I know Dave Hall and I have been working the Lincoln games for a couple years now, and before that I was here with Lincoln while you were with Wilson, I believe, for a few years. So I've been doing these Lincoln games for 4, maybe 5 years. I don't know. Everything kind of blends together the older I get. But either way, I definitely very much enjoyed my time working with both Oregon SportsBeat and Lincoln High School.
Trojans will go for it. Feldor, quarterback.
Near hash. Here's the snap. They're going to drop back, look over the middle for a pass, and then broken up by Justin Lowe. That was intended for Thomas, but Lowe came over the top with that big right hand and just smacked it down. And that's a turnover on downs. So a big stop there for the Lincoln defense.
Feldgore on kind of like a jump pass that time, and Justice Lowe said, well, if you can jump to throw it, I can jump to knock it down, and did.
And we did see on the biggest play of the game for the Wells offense was a 4th and long situation where they decided to drop back and pass. So we have seen them that work for them once previously, but not that time. So now Lincoln offense back on the field from the 48 in Wells territory, and the ball is loose again. Ambrose is going to fall on it, and that was extended for Lowe, and I don't know if they just got crossed up, didn't know. Somebody got the play call wrong there because Lowe didn't seem to be looking for the ball.
No, what happened is Lowe got too far past the quarterback. When Ambrose took the snap to hand it off to him, you saw he leaned forward trying to get it to him, and Lowe had already passed him.
Yep, you're right. So just a little bit off on the timing and the placement of all the moving parts there. And then you see Lowe in motion again. They're going to hand it off to Wells out of the backfield for a short gain.
You fake to the flanker coming by, and you give it to the fullback on a dive play. Kopet's got a couple back.
3 yards back, almost to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd and 11. Ball just inside
3rd and 11 upcoming.
49, sitting right on the Wells logo.
21-12. No scoring so far here in the second half. 2:20 on the clock here in the third quarter.
We had 14 points in the first quarter, 19 points in the second quarter, but no score here.
Lincoln's defense coming up with a big stop. Justice Lowe forcing the incompletion and a turnover on downs, but so far the offense on this possession, as we have a whistle. Timeout called by the Lincoln Cardinals. I believe their first of the second half. So we have another stoppage here in the third quarter. A little bit slower pace than what we saw in the first half. As the rain has dried up a bit. It came down there pretty hard to start the second half. Still chilly here in the Portland metro area.
Where's that sun?
You know, it's hiding. It's hiding behind those clouds. I mentioned this in my last game, for Oregon SportsBeat. At least for the foreseeable future. You never know what the future could hold. But I will be moving to Southern California, where
you'll be returning to Southern California.
That's true. I will be returning after, 6 or 7 years here in Portland. And let's just say I'm looking forward to the sunshine.
You are a baseball fan like me. You're looking forward to baseball.
Cardinals.
Yeah, in that post-vaccinated life, I will certainly be attending some Major League Baseball games, I'm sure. All right, quarterback drops
Whoa.
back. He's under pressure, but he completes the pass, and breaking free and
Ambrose
falling
pass
forward
complete to number 8, Brady
is
Kopetz.
Brady Kopetz, and he thinks he has a
Penalty
first
on the
down, and I
field.
think so too, but there's a
Cole
penalty on the
Thomas,
field.
number 5 with the saving tackle for Wells, although I believe this is coming back.
Yeah,
Ambrose was under pressure. He was backing up and managed to get the ball away off his back foot, completed it, but there's a penalty.
Cardinals had linemen down the ball
Ineligible
across
man
the line
down
of scrimmage.
field.
Do you know that that is the fourth call of the game for that penalty?
Would not have been a penalty.
Referees
5-yard penalty on
are
the
on it.
Cardinals.
So that will cost them 5 yards and
them back to
what was
the-
likely a first down.
Lincoln 46, where it will be 3rd down and 16-yard line. 3rd and 16 yards to go from the 46.
Third and long.
It's not a common penalty, but to see it 4 times in a game is kind of rare.
Yeah, that's something each team will have to clean up.
And again, that could be, that's timing, not having enough practice, not getting enough timing. Linemen trying to count off when to release and release early.
3rd and 16 for the Cardinals.
And we have a whistle and a timeout called by Lincoln.
Something was wrong that time. It didn't seem like all the players were on the same page, did it?
So Lincoln only has 1 timeout remaining. They've called 2 in just the past minute or so. So with 1:27 remaining on the clock here in the 3rd quarter, Lincoln calls another timeout. And like you said, something wasn't quite right. And on 3rd and long, head coach Jeremy Johnson recognizing that this could be a big play as far as the results of this ball game.
The wide receiver was lined up on the left that time. Josie was the only player out there, and he started to go in motion and realized there was nobody else, no other receiver on his side of the field, and he kind of took a look, and I think that's when Coach Jeremy Johnson said, hey, we're out of sync here, and let's talk about it.
Maryland leads Connecticut 28-19. 3rd and 16 for the Trojans, for the Cardinals. On the Cardinal 46. Ambrose at quarterback.
Ambrose drops back, rolling to his right, looks deep, and incomplete.
Ambrose pass is incomplete, nearly intercepted by number 5.
It was
Cole
indeed
Thomas
nearly
for the
intercepted by Cole
Trojans.
Thomas.
Pressure applied by number 22, Salt.
And now it'll be a 4th and long, 4th and 16. Let's see what the Lincoln offense decides to do here.
Down. And 15, the Cardinals.
Looks like the
will punt.
offense.
Number 72, Nate Paradis into punt.
Well, Ambrose
Number
is still out there,
78,
but no, they are
Barrow
going to punt.
Snap it for Lincoln.
Paradis takes a long time, and he drops the ball with one hand. Let's see if he can get that punt away cleanly this time.
Here's the kick. It's end over end and called for a fair catch. No, it's going to take a bounce and comes up with number 65 by the Cardinals. That's Riley Prince. And Wells will get the ball back. So neither team's offense has really threatened to get on the board here in the 3rd quarter.
Prince did a good job that time of seeing that the ball was headed bouncing backwards and stepped in and downed it.
Once again, thank our TV crew, everybody involved in the broadcast to bring this game to the people who can't be here. Those of us who live outside the city really appreciate the broadcasts. 1st and 10, Wells, ball at the 35.
Feldgore under center, and the ball's loose again. We've seen this a number of times.
Before the game, one of the Lincoln,
Looks like the quarterback gets back on it. Go ahead, Dave.
one of the Lincoln people up in the press box told me that they actually live in Seaside. I think it was part of the film crew or whatever, and they said thanks for doing the games so that they could watch them down there.
We're here to bring you all the action wherever you might be.
I've had my family in Ohio, Florida, Missouri watching games that we did.
Yeah, I know when I did some minor league baseball previously, as here's the snap, handoff going inside, and lots of bodies there, eventually taken down near the 40-yard line. You know, doing some games in minor league baseball, you're going to get some players from all over the world, truly.
Yep.
Some players from Dominican Republic, Venezuela, et cetera, et cetera. So you truly never know where somebody might be listening from.
Exactly.
In the internet era, they really could be anywhere.
3rd and 5 for Wells.
I also remember this. You'll get a kick out of this, Dave. Once my broadcast partner and I were giving the umpire a hard time, as that's the end of the 3rd quarter. Lincoln still leads it 21-12.
12 more minutes of football.
My broadcast partner at the time is now the radio play-by-play voice of the Charlotte Hornets, starting this season. So congratulations to him. But at the time, we were giving an umpire a hard time, let's just say. And
they deserve it.
I'm sure they deserved it. But nonetheless, a family member of the umpire, who just happened to be listening to the game, called the radio station we were broadcasting the game from and gave the poor old staff who answered the phone a piece of their mind, apparently. But I have a lot of respect for umpires who work their way up in the minor leagues. That is a thankless job.
I remember broadcasting a game one time. We had lost power and didn't realize we had lost power. And I heard a knock on the press box door, and it was a state trooper. And he said, people have been calling us and telling us you're not on the air. Check your connections. I thought I was under arrest.
Yeah, I guess that's the best case scenario if you're getting that knock. All right, 3rd and 5. Another handoff and lots of traffic up the middle. We've seen that pretty consistently. Tendon just nowhere to go.
For no gain, maybe even a loss. Number 23, Kusha.
Tendick, excuse me.
Mira Rabshahi on the
So
tackle.
right at the 40-yard line.
Get some help from his D-line.
So after 14 points in the first quarter, 19 points in the second quarter, no scoring at all in the 3rd quarter.
And now it's 4th and 6.
Ball at the Wells 39.
Wells offense will stay on the field.
Wells will leave the offense on the field.
From the far hash mark, moving right to left. Lincoln has made a number of stops, and Wells has turned the ball over on downs twice previously, and the ball is loose again, and that's going to be a turnover, even though Feldgore does alertly fall on it, but Lincoln is going to have excellent field position to start things out after the turnover on downs.
Something went wrong on the exchange that time. And the ball loose on the ground. That's if I'm correct, that's the 3rd fumble that Wells has lost this game.
I believe you are correct.
Have nothing to do the rest of the day. Tune in and watch former Lincoln pitcher Zane Mills pitch for Washington State against the Beavers in Pac-12 baseball. 1st and 10 Cardinals.
Quarterback under center has the snap. Here's the handoff out of the backfield. Running off left tackle now, breaks free, spins, falls forward is Kopetz.
Kopetz on the carry.
About 7 yards on the carry. I don't know if our broadcast picked that up, but it sounded like Zane Mills is getting the start. We've mentioned a few times, Dave and I are baseball fans. A number of these players play different sports, and a number of them have advanced to Division I schools playing different sports. St. Mills getting the start for Washington, was it?
Yes. Many people thought the top high school prospect in the nation last year was the kid who pitched for Jesuit, Mick Abel. And he was actually taken in the 1st round of the draft by the Phillies. And the Phillies consider him to be their number 1 prospect. Of course, Adley Rutschman, certainly the number 1 prospect in the Baltimore Orioles organization.
Yeah,
so
Adley Rutschman was a football player in the Portland metro area, played for Sherwood, and I believe set the state record for a field goal, 63 yards.
And I did that game.
We were there, yes. And the ball's loose again, and Wells is going to fall on it. And now each team is just trading possessions here in the second half. Solomon Wells unable to hang on to it.
With the recovery.
With a little bit of rain that we've got, we've had a
Trojans will
lot
take
of
over.
fumbles in this game, a lot.
And Tom
First
White
down and 10
able to recover. It'll be 1st and 10
at the
for the Wells offense.
24-yard line.
So, yeah, Adley Rutschman with that big field goal for
10-18 to go
Sherwood.
in
I
the
believe
game.
that was against Lincoln
I think it was.
in the playoffs
Again, number 15,
a
Tom
few
White
years
for the
back. And then
Trojans.
not shortly thereafter, he was the #1 overall pick in Major League Baseball.
And rightfully
now
so.
one of the top prospects in all of baseball, catcher for the Baltimore Orioles organization.
Not just a catcher,
13
switch
starters
hitting
taking on
catcher.
carry,
Yeah, you don't see that often.
Brought down by number 2, Dylan Iwanaga, and number 32, Gus Togney.
So
You don't want to get Shane and I started on baseball. We'll sit here and talk
yeah,
all
we got
day.
the fourth quarter of this game as no gain on that carry.
Looking on the play, 2nd and 10 for Wells. from their
Second
own
and
25.
10. A sideline warning, I believe I just heard.
You know, that's
On Lincoln.
You have to stay in that box, and if you don't, you get that warning. Second time, it's a penalty. I've seen it a couple of times this year.
Number 7, Abraham Barrow coming into the game for Lincoln on
So
defense.
the warning is just that, but if you do it again, there will be a penalty.
2nd and 10 for Wells. Number 12, still in at quarterback, Parker Feld-Gore.
Parker Feld-Gore, the sophomore,
For the Trojans.
under center. Lots of traffic up the middle. I think the ball's loose again.
Up the middle, hand up to Silas.
And I think Lincoln might have got it back this time.
Loose.
3 changes of possession in, what, a minute?
Covered by number
Yeah,
1,
we're
Justice
going
Lowe.
back and forth. The
And
pendulum
Lincoln
is
will
swinging.
take back over.
And Lincoln
First
will have
and 10
excellent field
at the
position.
Wells 25, with 9.5 minutes
they'll
to go
try
in the ball
again.
game.
You know, there's just enough moisture out there that the ball's a little slippery.
1st and 10, looks like the ball's on the Wells 26. Once again, number 9.
9.5
Mario
minutes
Ambrose
remaining.
is your Lincoln quarterback. With Wells and Kopetz in the backfield.
2 men in the backfield, 2 receivers on the near side. Quarterback drops back, looking to the near side there. Has Lowe, who makes the grab. Stiff arm, falls
Number
forward.
pass complete to number 1, Justice Lowe.
A great play there by Lowe. They're going to
Tackle
spot him
made by
down
number
at
12,
the
Parker
16-yard
Feld-Gore.
line.
It's
So
gain of
not a huge gain, but
9 yards down to the
Lowe has
Wells
great
17
jumping
to bring up
ability, and
2nd down and
Ambrose
a
puts the
yard
ball out there where only
for
Lowe can get
the
it.
Cardinals.
2nd and 1.
Second
Ambrose
one,
returns to the huddle. Under 9 minutes remaining now here in the fourth quarter.
Ambrose at quarterback.
Low in motion. Ambrose with the pitch. The ball's loose. And looks like
The pitch goes off
Kopetz
Kopetz's helmet.
You know
able
what?
to recover.
When the guy was sitting around
By
this
Brady Kopetz.
designing football, he said, you know, let's don't make the ball round. Let's make the ball oblong. And that way nobody can get a good handle on it. It was a genius.
It certainly does make things a little more interesting.
Wells 30-yard line. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 14.
We've had
3rd
4
and 14
fumbles
for the
in the
Cardinals.
last
Moment of loss of
2
the
minutes
final
of game
play.
time.
3rd and long now from the 30.
There's 65, Riley Prince on the ball for the Cardinals.
And has some trouble with the transfer there, but has it and dumps it off to Kopetz. We have a flag in the backfield. Kopetz still on his feet,
Ambrose pass
up
is
to about the
complete to number
22-yard
8 running back
line.
Brady Kopetz.
That was a setup play for the screen, and they got it to Kopetz, and they had a couple of blockers out there.
Tackle for Wells was by number 22, Saul.
Holding on
Indication is
the Cardinals.
Holding against the Cardinals.
So that'll back things up.
That'll erase the gain and move the Cardinals back another 10 yards.
We'll try again. 3rd and long after the 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
$33 points in the first half. So far, none here in the second.
The penalty will move the ball all the way back to the Wells 42-yard line.
All right, so they spotted at the
It'll now be
42.
3rd down for the Cardinals.
3rd and very long.
Third and about 25 yards.
Wells back into the game.
Ambrose joins the huddle.
I mean, with all this going on, it's still only a 9-point game.
Yeah. Neither offense just able to really threaten. Now 3 receivers on the near side. Quarterback drops back, looks to his right, and has 2 receivers there, but it's intercepted. And running near sideline, tiptoes, and finally out of bounds is Cole Thomas. And we have a flag at the end of the play.
Senior Cole Thomas. A flag at the end of the play on the sideline.
Thomas on the interception just reached up and grabbed it. There's a flag on the sideline on Thomas's return.
That was Ambrose intercepted again by number 5, Wells senior Cole Thomas. Ball's returned to midfield, but there is a penalty. I believe it's a
The penalty's going to be on.
Conduct penalty against Wells after the play.
Yeah,
the interception.
Something happened on the out of bounds there play, and it's unsportsmanlike conduct on Wells.
The penalty was called post-possession.
The turnover will count.
Retain possession, but will be backed up.
Yeah, so they'll back it up after the play.
Nice interception that time by Cole Thomas, who just stepped in front of the receiver, reached up and grabbed it.
Yeah, there was actually 2 receivers back in the portion of the field as that ball was thrown, but 3 bodies, and it went to the one jersey you don't want it to go to.
Well, we've had 3 fumbles, turnovers. We've now had a pass interception for a turnover.
15-yard penalty to put Wells back on their own 34.
So they'll back it up to the 34-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wells Trojans, trailing by 9 and 7:19 remaining. I believe they have 2 timeouts remaining as well here in the second half, trailing 21-12.
Game this close, both teams have opened up the offense. Both teams are throwing the ball.
Yeah, which surprises me considering the slick ball out there. As here's a loss. Handoff for about 2-yard loss. That goes Togney in on the tackle.
Stopped immediately by Lincoln linebacker Gus
Cyrus Tendick on the carry.
Looks like a loss of about 2 yards on the play. Second
and 12. Clock continues to run now under 7 minutes. And we have a whistle. Unclear on the stoppage.
Well, the coach is headed out to.
Once again, a loss of 2 on the last play sets the Trojans up at 2nd and 12.
I wasn't sure there was a timeout on the field.
Looks like there might be some sort of jersey problem. There's a replacement happening.
You're exactly right. It's an equipment
issue. So number 22 is changing his jersey. Let's see what he puts on here.
That's Saul Tendick.
And it's going to take a couple individuals to get that over the existing jersey and those pads and everything else. All right, now 22 has become number 57, so we're going to have to be careful on that one. So just a brief stoppage in the action. 6:54 on the clock.
Looks like number 22, Saul Tendick, will now be wearing number 57.
And there's a player who was injured on that play is walking to the sideline for Wells, and it's number 72.
72 is Logan Moses. We have seen him exit the game previously as well.
2nd down and 12.
And then re-enter a few plays later.
While all that was going on, a coach came out and talked to him. They may be checking on him. I can see they're talking to him on the sideline.
Cunell and Harley Dodge in the backfield with Feldgore. 2nd 12, Wells.
All right, they run the clock. Feldgore under center. The handoff to Thomas on the second option. He gets around the outside edge on the far side of the field. Now outside the numbers, and he's going to have enough for a first down.
Got to be close where they spot that, whether that's a first down or not.
Almost out to midfield for Wells' first down.
Looks like they are going to give him the first down, I believe. Yeah, he got enough, getting knocked out of bounds at the 47, and that will move the chains.
Number 65, Riley.
And we actually have
Prince for the
cheerleaders at
Cardinals.
this game, which we didn't see in week
And
1.
13
But the
yards
Wells
for
cheerleaders
Thomas
are out there on the
play,
far
Wells
side of the
first
field.
down, first and
Good
10,
observation. I hadn't noticed that
for the
before, but
Trojan
you're right.
47.
Those are the Cardinal cheerleaders, I believe, aren't they?
Hard to tell from our vantage point. I would think if any team was going to have cheerleaders, it would be Wells at their home field. And based on the colors that they're wearing, they're
And off
darker
inside,
colors.
number 11,
Not sure.
Jaden Brandon, who
Brandon
re-entered the game.
gets in on the action as we saw him exit due to an
Brandon
injury
runs hard
earlier,
for his tacklers
but is
across
back in the
midfield
game
and down to the Lincoln
and
48
gets
for
across
gain
midfield up to the
5.
48, 5-yard carry,
Tackled by Kopets.
2nd and 5.
And I believe number 2, Dylan Iwanaga. 2nd and 5 for Wells.
Now
Ball at the Cardinal 48.
just over 6 minutes
to go
remaining
ball
here
game.
in the 4th quarter. And Wells is going to have to do something because they do need 2 scores. They fake the handoff, now air it out. It's 1-on-1, and they make the grab, and breaking free is Cole Thomas.
Feldgore's pass
And
complete
he is in for the score.
to number 5, Cole Thomas, 48 yards.
48
for Wells,
yards on the touchdown pass.
5:49
Once
on the
again,
clock.
that's Feldgore
And
to Cole
Wells
Thomas,
Inches ever so
48
closely.
yards,
They're trailing now by
and
just
Wells
3 points.
Touchdown.
By the way, that's the 3rd touchdown
Thomas with
pass
a
for
broken
Feldgore
tackle and takes it to the house.
to Cole Thomas.
And apparently now needs a sub.
5:49 the time. So
With 5:49 to go,
21-18.
your score now, Cardinals 28, Trojans 18. Or sorry,
So
21
Cole
to 18.
Thomas
And Wells will
with the
go
catch
for
and
2
run,
as usual.
Justice Lowe, the defender,
Number 12, Parker Feldgore is your
unable to make the
quarterback.
tackle. And they're going to go for 2. Lots of traffic in the middle. They hand it off to number 25, who is going to be kept out of the end zone.
Number 25.
Ambrose on the stop, just short of the goal line.
Roland
Stopped by
Griffiths.
Number 9, Mario Ambrose.
Ambrose with what a
Short of
tackle
goal
there
line, and the
at
two-point
the end of that
conversion
play.
is no good.
So now it
5:49
remains
left in
a
this
3-point
barn burner.
game with 5:49 remaining here in the 4th
21.
quarter.
Wells Trojans 18.
21-18 in favor of the Lincoln Cardinals.
Thomas that time got behind Lowe. Lowe tried to commit to knock the ball down. When he missed it, Thomas just turned it upfield and went 48 yards for the touchdown. 3 touchdown passes from Feldgore. 1 to Brannon, 1 to Dufort, and 1 to Thomas.
So each team has scored 3 touchdowns today, but the 3-point difference has been the points after the touchdowns.
Exactly. Lincoln has a 2-point conversion and a 1-point conversion, and the Wells Trojans have none.
Dirty Dylan Iwanaga.
All right, so
And
kickoff
number 17,
upcoming.
Jack White. is
Jack
your
White
kicker
will be
for the
kicking right to
Trojans.
left from the far hash mark from the 40-yard line.
5:49 to go.
And you see the 4 players to his right. They got called on a penalty for that prior, and there's a deep kick that's going to roll into the end zone for a touchback.
White's kick goes
Wow.
into the end zone for a touchback, not returned by Iwanaga.
No chance there for Iwanaga, who
That'll
was
bring the
back
ball
deep.
out
And usually we see Justice Lowe back deep
to
but he
the
was not on the
Cardinal
field
20-yard line
for
where
that kick,
Lincoln
so
will
that
take
we'll keep
over.
an eye on Justice Lowe.
1st and 10 with
Looks
a
like he's
3-point
coming
lead.
onto the field now with the offense.
I would not be surprised to see Lincoln keep the ball on the ground here, try to use up as much of the clock as they could, keep the ball on the ground, and try to drive down the field.
I agree with you.
Number 9, Mario Ambrose in the quarterback again for Lincoln. Kopets in the backfield.
Ambrose remains in the game. Justice Lowe with the pitch. Going to the far side of the field, now turns upfield and turns on the Jets for a first down.
Justice Lowe on the carry.
So that was a slow to develop play, but they turn it into a first down and a little more.
On the toss sweep, gets the corner, gets out to the
Lowe has such great speed and such great cutting ability, and he does that little jump cut where he can stop
He
and
lead
jump to
block
one
thrown
side.
taken by number 8. Brady Kopetz on that
Gets it up to the 34-yard line. Lincoln now on the move, moving left to right from the far hash mark, leading by just 3 now after a touchdown to Cole Thomas.
Full play, though. 1st and 10 Lincoln, ball at the Cardinal 34.
1st and 10. Ambrose under center. Handoff up the middle. Stays on his feet is Wells for 4, maybe 5 yards. Looks like 5 yards on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 5 upcoming.
For the Trojans.
Clock continues to run.
5 on the play for Solomon Wells.
I know Lincoln, I believe, has 1 timeout remaining. Wells may have 2.
Ball is sitting on the Cardinal 39.
And as Dave mentioned a few moments ago, pretty likely Lincoln just tries to milk as much clock as possible here and keeps the ball on the ground, and we have a whistle before the snap.
Looks like a timeout Wells.
Timeout called by Wells. So
that's their 2nd of the half.
I believe each team has 1 timeout remaining with 4:53 on the clock.
Cardinals facing 2nd down and 5. Don't forget, when you get home, you can rewatch the entire game on the stream from our fine broadcast crew. Dave Hall working the mic. Rewatch every single play over and over again.
Dave Hall getting the shout out.
That's because I was up talking to him before and he remembered my name.
Also, the great Shane Downey working with Dave.
Oh, look at that.
See,
He's on it. He's on it.
Right.
Always appreciated.
The streams are invaluable this year. Amazing. So great to be able to watch the games from anywhere.
Yeah, it's certainly a different feel here in 2021, and we certainly recognize the value of bringing the people to broadcast as Solomon Wells turns it upfield. That should be enough for a first down up to the 45-yard line.
Big hit by Davis Dufort at the end.
For the Trojans, but not before.
Yeah, I know there was definitely a period of time where Dave and I weren't sure if there was going to be any games to call this season as far as football is concerned. But
I remember last month sitting at home saying, I haven't done a game. When am I ever going to do a game? And when it's over in March, I'll have done 14 games in March.
You have been a busy man indeed.
Volleyball, boys and girls soccer, football.
1st and 10, low in motion. Handoff to Kopetz. Coming off right tackle.
That's that same play. They faked the sweep to low, and then the dive play to Kopetz, and that time picked up about 4.
And Felt Gore in on the tackle for the defense. So the quarterback for Wells playing on both sides of the ball.
Ball just on the Wells logo.
And
we see limping off the field for Wells is Jaden Brandon. We've seen him come out previously.
Right, he's been in and out 3 times. Cardinals definitely keeping the ball on the ground.
3.5 minutes remaining. Still a 3-point game. Lincoln in the lead and has possession. 2nd down and 6 to go. And Lowe in motion. They're going to hand it off to Lowe, who gets outside the numbers, turns up field. That's enough for a first down, and he's taken down inside the 40.
Gets around the corner.
One of the other things to notice about Lowe, he's so good at starting and stopping. Starting and stopping.
The gain is all the way to the Wells 38.
Up to the 38-yard line on that far hash mark.
1st and 10 Cardinals.
Lincoln moves the chains. 3:17 clock stop now because of the first down. They will run the clock once the offense is set. If Lincoln can score here on this possession, that would certainly increase their win probability significantly. Handoff up the middle to Kopetz. Just a power run.
Brought down by number 5, Cole Thomas for Wells.
About 4 yards on the carry.
Kopetz gets down to the
Now the enemy
34
for
yard
Wells,
line.
time.
For a gain of 4, brings up 2nd and 6 for the Cardinals.
Wells does have 1 timeout remaining. No 2-minute stoppage.
3 minutes now to go in the ball game.
Here in high school football. And Lincoln, you can hear some vocals coming from the sideline. They want to finish this off. And you see some movement from the defense.
Penalty on the field. Indication is offsides against the
Offsides
Trojans.
by Wells.
People get anxious at the end of the game. The clock's running. The quarterback comes up the line of scrimmage and gives a hard count. And you saw how many players jumped that time.
I believe the offsides was on multiple Wells defenders on that.
Yeah, as you mentioned, hard to pinpoint just one player
Right.
on that penalty.
2nd and 1 for the Cardinals from the Wells 29-yard line.
Just 1 yard to go, 2nd down. Lincoln wants to keep moving the chains, keep possession. Handoff to Wells.
Ambrose hands off to Solomon Wells.
He's not going to get it. Gets to the line of scrimmage.
Stop
It'll
near
be
the line.
third and 1 now.
Third and about 1.
5 for Wells. Roland Griffiths, number 5. Cole
And it looks like
Thomas.
Wells is going to call their
Number
final
57
timeout. They'll stop the
now.
clock with
So
2:17 remaining here in the ball game, trailing by 3 points.
No gain on the play, going to bring up 3rd
And
and 1
Lincoln-
for the Cardinals. Ball just inside the Wells 30.
Really just needs a 1st down here.
You know, Lincoln has not scored a point since 14 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, they did get that touchdown at the very end of the 2nd quarter, and that could prove to be the difference here in the ball game. Both of these teams coming into the game with a 1-1 record overall. The Trojans, winners last week over Madison, a 20-6 victory after losing a close game in week 1, taking on Roosevelt. Meanwhile, for the Lincoln Cardinals, it's kind of the tale of 2 games. They were shut out in week 1 on this field against Jefferson. Jefferson was 13 points winners there. Meanwhile, their defense stepped up big, and their offense opened up big time in week 2 as well. They were 21-0 victors last week. So, of course, they've scored 21 points today. If they can add 1 more point on the board, that will be a new season high. Quarterback under center. Handoff. And did he get it? Kopetz, a little dive at the end of that play, and they are going to signal to move the chains. So that will stop the clock for just a moment.
That final effort there got him that 1st down when he dived forward.
All right, now the clock is running. So Lincoln really in no hurry now.
They'll run the clock down to the last second before they snap it.
Yeah, we don't have the benefit of a play clock, but Lincoln will try to
You-
internalize that.
You can bet they've got somebody over in the sideline yelling out.
Yep. Offense is set.
See, Ambrose taking
Now
his time.
Ambrose crouches, signals for Justice Lowe in motion. The handoff to Lowe, who turns up field, and could this be another score? He tiptoes.
Justice Lowe.
He's looking for the touchdown. You're not going to give it to him.
Wow. He needed 29 for the touchdown. Looks like he got 28.
He was pushed out of bounds.
He's pushed out of bounds just short of the goal line. And with 1:32 on the clock,
2-yard line.
you know, I believe they can just run out the clock from this point on. Let's see what they decide to do.
Again, that's number 1, Lowe on the carry. 1st and goal, Lincoln.
Fly sweep that time, and Low on the fly and got all the way down to about the 1.
1st and goal. Kopetz.
Look for
In the
Kopetz on the
backfield.
carry.
And we have motion on the offense.
Penalty on the field. Motion.
Well, that's going to be half the distance to the goal. There's not much room to move from that point.
Remember what I said? You get anxious, and you quarterback comes up there and barks a signal, and you go.
So 1:32 remaining.
Is a false start on Lincoln.
Oh, no, they're calling it on Lincoln. So the ball's going to go the other direction.
Yeah, I think it was on Parody. It's number 72.
Remains first and goal for Lincoln from the Wells 7-yard line.
So that'll back things up to the 7.
32 seconds left in your ball game.
And really it just depends on if Lincoln wants to put more points on the board. I mean, they probably do just to be extra safe.
Might
make it a 2-possession game.
Might look for low again on that sweep play.
But still, really in no hurry. You'd like, if you're going to score with maybe 30 seconds left on the clock.
What are they running?
No, it goes to low, and he's going to turn upfield, and he's going to waste no time.
Low on the sweep plate to the other side.
And that's 6 more points on the board for the Lincoln Cardinals. 27-18 now with 1:26 on the clock.
Second touchdown of the game for Justice Lowe. 1 on a pass, 1 on a run.
So forget everything I said about waiting. Why not just get the points on the board?
Exactly.
Really not much Wells can do with 1:26 on the clock. So right now it is a 9-point game. They're going to try to make it 10. Snap and hold look good. Line drive, end over end kick is through the uprights and make it a 10-point lead. Lincoln leads it 28-18 with 1:26 on the clock. And Lincoln with their highest offensive output so far this season with 28 points on the board.
Lincoln will kick off.
2 touchdown runs by Brady Kopetz. A pass, 24-yard pass from Ambrose to Lowe, and then a 7-yard touchdown run by Lowe. So 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing. Justice Lowe with 2 touchdowns. Brady Kopetz with 2 touchdowns.
An excellent all-around game for the Lincoln Cardinals. And now you hear the pitter-patter coming back just in time. Just a few minutes before we'll be back in our cars driving home in this rain.
Number 32, Harley Dodge. Also back, number 13, Cyrus Tendick. And number 6, Eddie Kinnell.
All right, here's the kick. It's a good one. Straightened out and deep. Takes a bounce inside the 20. Picked up on the bounce. Across the 25. Tackled there.
Harley Dodge.
Dodge.
On the return, brought down a solo
about 7 yards on the return.
Mira Rob Shahi.
Mira Rob Shahi with the
Also
tackle on the
Super
special
Mario.
teams.
Tackle is at the 26-yard line where Wells will take over. 1:22 to go in the ball game.
Wells does not have any timeouts remaining, now trailing by 10 points. Feldgore will remain in the game with just 1:22 on the clock.
There's some confusion. Some of the Wilson players were yelling at the sideline, "What's the play?"
26-yard line for the Trojans.
That's probably the last thing you want to hear if you're on the coaching staff.
I'm the coach. That's the last thing I want to hear.
All right, handoff. Number 13 gets outside.
To the fullback, number 13, Cyrus Tendick.
Cyrus Tendick with a
Brought down
short
by
gain.
number 23, Kusha.
Clock will continue to
Mira
run
Rashadi.
just above 1 minute
And
remaining
number
here in the
64,
fourth quarter.
Max Dickinson. Got a gain of 1 for the Trojans. Second
Clock
down and
ticks
9
under 1 minute.
for Wells.
And Wells looks to be in no hurry as number 57 exits the field. And what do you know? It took us till under a minute remaining in the fourth quarter, but we had no 57 on our roster.
Oh,
Hadn't noticed that before. Here's the handoff to, the ball's loose, and Lincoln recovers.
Handoff to number 21, Davis Duford.
It was Davis Duford
Ball is
the carry, and then
recovered by
recovered by
number 2
Dylan
for the Cardinals.
Iwanaga.
you know,
Dylan.
that's exclamation point to this game. That's the 4th lost fumble for the Wilson, or for the Wells Trojans.
All right, well, we do have another play to run, but that will wrap up this ball game. Lincoln will improve to 2-1 on the season with a 28-18 victory. Lincoln will have to run one more play from the victory formation.
Cardinals will be in victory formation.
Ambrose takes the snap and the knee, and that'll do it.
No timeouts left.
From Wells High School, Lincoln improves to 2-1 on the season, winning this league matchup against the Wells Trojans 28-18. Meanwhile, Wells now 1-2 overall on the season after today's loss.
You mentioned, Shane, you're leaving and you're headed to Southern California. Your work's going to take you back there. On behalf of Oregon SportsBeat, I want to thank you for your dedication and your service and your professionalism here you've given us over the last 5 years, I believe, on high school sports. It's been a real treat myself working with you. This is my 41st year. I've worked with a lot of people, and I appreciate all the dedication that you've given and your love for the high school sports, and it's been a real joy working with you. I wish you success in whatever you do.
I very much appreciate those kind words, Mr. Dave Hall. You know, I've had a number of broadcast partners here with Oregon SportsBeat and elsewhere. I want to thank everyone I've worked with, not only yourself this season, but in previous seasons. I know I called some games with Garrett Imanson my first couple of years with Lincoln football. Had a few other individuals in the mix as well. And definitely want to thank everyone behind the scenes at Oregon SportsBeat. Ryan Johnson, of course, leading the show, and a number of other individuals as well who have been here throughout the years.
Our crew tonight, Jim Thompson was here with us. Alva Myers is the director. Justin working the camera for us with those great shots. So thanks to everybody today.
Absolutely. You might only hear our voices on the telecast or the radio, however the feed may be coming through. But there's a lot of individuals that work behind the scenes with Oregon SportsBeat to bring this action to you. Well, I think that's going to do it, at least so long for now. Dave Hall will be back next week to bring you the Lincoln football action. And Dave Hall is all over Oregon SportsBeat. So if you ever just want to check in on Dave, check in on Oregon SportsBeat.
Tuesday night, we'll be covering Central Catholic girls soccer at Strasser Field at East Delta Park, 6:30 the start time on that.
And next week, the Lincoln Cardinals, with that 2-1 record, will be headed to to Cleveland, right, to take on Cleveland a week from today. Well, thanks again. Lincoln with a victory, improving to 2-1 on the season, 28-18 over Wells. I'm Shane Downey for Dave Hall, saying so long from Wells High School.